Now I am become Ken, destroyer of Barbie worlds. You like that one?
Yeah, I did.
Did you just make that one up?
Yeah. Straight from the heart. Welcome to the Sunday Movie Marathon. I'm Ken.
I'm Ken.
I'm Alan.
Thanks, Alan. It's the Barbenheimer episode.
It is.
It's finally happened.
Here we go. We've been talking about it for months and months. The news cycle is nothing but Barbenheimer. I say news cycle. It's more like social media cycle.
Yeah.
True.
There's so much on my Instagram feed about Barbenheimer. We're all going to go see Barbenheimer. Who actually did it though? A few people.
I think quite a lot of people.
Yeah,
did,
a few people did.
My TikTok is just filled with people that went to both. But my TikTok is also filled with people that have been very naughty and have taken videos in the cinema of them watching both movies.
What?
Like recording the screen, madness.
You can't do that.
I don't know how they
against
get
the law.
I don't know how they get away with that because they can see it, right?
Saw on Twitter earlier, apparently Tarantino went to see Barbie and then crossed the street to a different cinema to watch Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Or it might have been the other way around, but either way, he did Barbenheimer.
Yeah,
do you know what? That actually is a bit of a vibe. If there was a way that I could have seen it in two different cinemas, I might have done that.
Maybe.
Yeah. We're in two different screens. That was kind of the same.
Yeah, it just felt like a different.
It wasn't much the same.
Change of scenery. It was across the hallway.
Yeah, we did it.
It's different.
I saw Tom Cruise was going to do it as well.
Yeah.
When he took forever to explain that he was going to do it.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I've seen that video
of him being the interviewer is like, "Are you going to go see Barbie and Oppenheimer?" And he's like, "Oh, well, it's a great thing, cinema, isn't it?" And he just goes on this massive spiel. He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to go see Barbie and Oppenheimer on a Friday."
Yeah, I don't know why.
Great one, Tom.
I don't know why he felt the need to circle all the way around. Yeah, I am.
I love that video of him that's gone viral recently where he's just eating popcorn. He's like, I love movies.
You'd kind of hope so as an actor.
What a guy.
He is insane. He is
I've actually been doing a lot of reading on him recently.
He is insane.
He is a crazy fucking guy, I swear. I saw that Mission Impossible one, Dead Reckoning. I won't go into it, but I really liked it.
That the new one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's praised as this savior of the cinema recently, I think. He's just doing some batshit crazy stuff, doing all this practical thing. He wants his movies to be seen in the cinema, and I think I gotta respect him for that, honestly. If not for all the other weird stuff I guess he's been involved in.
Yeah,
I don't really
like him as a person, but I do kind of respect him. Don't really even like him as an actor either, but yeah, I kind of respect him.
I don't like him that much.
I do. I quite like. I saw Top Gun Maverick for the first time the other day. I got that on 4K. I was like, what? Fucking hell. I was like, damn, imagine seeing this in the cinema. That would have been great. Because I knew he wants his movies to be seen in the cinema, obviously.
Fair enough.
And I think that is probably the best place to go for them.
Yeah.
Especially with these Mission Impossible movies. I think this is the second one I saw in the cinema. I didn't see Fallout in the cinema, but I really love that movie.
I think Ghost Protocol is the only one I've seen in the cinema. I do want to see the new one. I caught up on the franchise recently.
Yeah.
Had a good time with the two that I hadn't seen before.
Yeah, Rogue Nation and Fallout.
Yeah, especially Rogue Nation. I was in the minority that preferred that to Fallout for some reason.
Yeah, I can't say I share the same sense. I do like them both. I really like them. I watched Fallout again recently and I was like, actually, this is peak action.
It is really
cinema
good, yeah.
For me. It's so well made. The new one's quite like that as well. I don't think it's as good, but that's about as much as I'll say on Dead Reckoning. I liked it. Go see it in the cinema. It's not, I don't know how well it's doing. It's quite a strange release.
Yeah, I think it's doing okay, but nowhere near as good as they were hoping for.
No.
I'm assuming that's probably bad choice of release
and
time.
And now with Barbie and Oppenheimer, it's kind of, it's gone past its peak now.
Yeah.
Because of that. That's going to take over the entire box office.
Yeah, it did not have a long run.
No.
It was only out for a week or two, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go see it. I think, Darcy goes away for the next week and I get paid this week, so I'll probably go see it when I get paid.
Yeah, I would recommend it. Good one to watch in the cinema. I just got a ticket for an outdoor cinema they're doing quite near us to see Top Gun Maverick. I was like, damn, if only I could have seen that in the cinema. And what do you know? They're showing it in an outdoor cinema. I've never been to an outdoor cinema before. But I think that would be really fun.
Yeah, I think that'd be a fun vibe.
You get out your deck chair.
Yeah.
Go out to the
deck chair.
sort of a field.
Yeah, picnic blanket. Take a basket with picnic in it.
Yeah. I'm doing it all on my own though, so I'm not going with anyone. That'll be fun. Be a lot of
your
fun.
own personal picnic. That sounds
there we go.
nice.
My
Treat
own
yourself.
personal picnic.
Yeah.
Top Gun Maverick. That'll like blow your face off. I think I've talked about like how the one time I like went into the wrong cinema screening. I went in to see that that movie was playing, and like it was like some plane sequence, and it's so fucking loud. And it just like literally takes your face off, just like seeing that. But the sound is amazing. I watched it with headphones on the 4K. It's really good.
No, I'll probably watch it when Darcy goes tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like with my subwoofer, the entire room's going to be shaking.
That's what you need though for that one.
Like when we were watching Drive for this, like I felt my feet vibrating during a lot of the movie.
Yeah, it's good though. The subwoofer is a good addition to the movie watching experience. Get me one of those. The soundbar just ain't cutting it these days.
Yeah, it's like purposely put behind the sofa as well, so you can feel it, which is really bizarre sometimes.
So it like adds like depth. So it's like the sounds all around you.
Sounds all around. Speaking of all around, should we get into Barbenheimer then?
Yeah, obviously we're going to be here for years, aren't we?
The fabled Barbenheimer. So we went and our tickets booked for a while. Go into the cinema. Here's the game plan. They changed the screen, so I don't know where I am. I had to go to another part of the cinema, and they're like, "What is your email?" I'm like,
why was that? That bit was so unnecessarily like long and painful.
They were like, "Oh, we've sat you here in the original seat you booked." Okay, thank you for that. But then it got me thinking, like, are there like other people who have had their seats like relocated? Because if you got yours after they switched the screens,
yeah.
So if they had like not put me next to you, that would have been disastrous.
That's actually what I thought was going to happen when they said that they changed it. I thought, oh, fuck me, here we go. Or even worse, before I went and asked anyone, we were like, there are 2 different screenings. Are we just going to like see it alone?
Yeah, I panicked. I was in panic mode.
That would have been awful. Like just 3 hours of just like strangers next to you. Like, fuck them.
Yeah, we saw Oppenheimer first, and then like a 45-minute break in between. Get some food,
give or take.
Go back straight into Barbie.
I
think that was the way to do it.
Yeah,
if you're gonna do it, I think that's the way to do it.
I don't know. I think if I was to do it again, I think I would have done it the other way around.
Interesting, because I don't know. I guess like Barbie is a bit more. I would say I thought Barbie would be a bit more lighthearted.
Yeah.
So if you're left with that feeling at the end of it, and not like this
crushing weight of
depression
grief.
At the end of Oppenheimer, I feel like that's the better way to go. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think with me, obviously, I won't go too far into it, but after watching Oppenheimer, I was like, I feel like I can't watch anything now because anything I watch is going to pale in comparison to that.
Well, it's just one of those things where you walk out and it's like, I need to go to bed now.
Yeah, it's a very exhausting movie as well.
I didn't take that into consideration, but I mean, we did all right. So I mean,
you did very well. Congratulations to us all. I was exhausted after all of this.
Yeah, same.
On
I know we're just sitting there watching movies, but Jesus, it's so exhausting.
It takes it out of you. I don't think people actually like understand. I mean, because at the end of the day, if you actually think about it, it's not like we're fighting in any wars or anything. We're literally just sitting down. But it's
no, we put ourselves through it, you know.
It's the constant stimulation.
We're really trying here.
We were pretty much like, it felt like we were the only people that got into Oppenheimer on time as well.
Yeah, a lot of people switching seats, a lot of people coming in late.
I'm not going to blame people for that though, because they obviously didn't tell Max that they switched the screens. So there was quite obviously people that had, not everyone, but there were quite obviously people that were coming from one end and being like, oh, it's not at screen 4 anymore. I've got to go all the way back round across the other side of the cinema.
So 1 minute walk.
I know, but I'm not going to blame them for it, especially when the film started earlier than they normally would.
Yeah,
I'm not blaming anyone.
They didn't show any adverts; it was just trailers and then straight into it. So
yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining. Although those 2 people, so there's these 2 people that sat down next to me, and they were having like the time of their life. And then these 3 girls come in, and they're clearly meant to be sitting in the free seats on the end. Well, I say on the end. I don't really mean that. But they looked at me, this guy and this woman, and were like, those guys are in our seats. And I was just waving at them because I was like, nah, bitch, this is my seat. And then this fucking poor like cinema worker, I've never really seen them do anything at the cinema, but this was the first time, comes in and he's like, oh, there's this guy that's sitting next to Max who shouldn't actually be there. And then these guys were like, oh, okay. But they like came in like, I don't know, like halfway through the not halfway through,
half
but like
an hour, 45 minutes in.
And I thought you would have been better off just going to the next fucking screening at this point, because you're not going to have a fucking clue.
If you miss like even the first 5 minutes of this, I feel like you'll have no idea what's going on, because it's edited and it's cut in such a way that's like, it's like breakneck.
Yeah, everything just happens.
Like 3 hours long, but it still feels very fast.
Yeah. It reminded me of like the editing of Magnolia.
Yes.
That's like basically the exact same, where it's like just constant batshit stuff happening for 3 hours and never slows down once.
It didn't really feel no, it didn't feel like 3 hours.
I think it's
me holding in my Wii felt like 3 hours.
It's quite impressive how he managed to do that, considering most of the movie is just like talking.
It is very dialogue heavy, but I, obviously being the TikTok addict that I am, I'd seen like loads of people doing like, they'd already been like, because obviously we went on Saturday and everyone was doing it on the Friday.
We're doing the Oppenheimer dance afterwards.
Yeah, and doing like loads of videos about like, like non-spoiler things you should know or whatever. And it was like, don't go and read up about it before you go. Have a wee before you go. It's very dialogue heavy. There's not a lot of action, and that one particular scene isn't all that bad and is not 15 minutes long. I don't know who told you it was.
Oh, what, the sex scene?
No, they're talking about the Trinity scene. People were saying it was like 15 minutes long, so people didn't want to go because they were like, oh, it's going to be really loud, it's going to be like really bright, it's going to be horrible. But it's only like 5 minutes or 6 minutes. It's not that long. And it's also not that bad.
Why would you not go? Like, if you're like interested in it, why would you just not like? Oh, because for 15 minutes it's quite bright and loud.
Well, I took my loops with me, and I'm glad that I did, because I obviously have like quite sensitive hearing anyway. So I was like, yeah, like the first couple of minutes, obviously, you get like, clips of like, like cracking and noises from like, I don't know, you know what I mean, like the the nuclear shit that's going on. There's like cracks and pops and like little loud noises and stuff. And I was like, oh, I just know this film is going to be really fucking loud. And then it got to a certain point and I just went, do you know what? I'm just going to put my headphones in now. Not my headphones, my loops in now, because I'm like, this is going to be too loud for me. And I'm sitting there with my little beanie on, fucking covering my ears. But do you know what? No, it's not even that bad. But if you, I don't know, I think you should go into it thinking this movie's about like nuclear bombs, right? It's gonna be kind of loud. So if you go into it knowing that, you already know what's happening.
I feel like we've just like started the conversation without saying what it is.
Sure. I just feel like everybody knows what it is.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's about Robert Oppenheimer.
J. Robert Oppenheimer.
Yeah, creator of the atom bomb. It's kind of about his life. Obviously directed by Christopher Nolan.
Yes.
Yeah,
there you go.
Everyone,
it's build up to the atom bomb and everything that happened as a result of that. It's I didn't find it particularly loud, but I did find it very noisy.
Yeah, I think maybe that's what I mean. I don't know. Yeah,
there's like the score is pretty much non-stop. Like the musical score, it just goes and goes and goes. There's maybe like 2 scenes in this whole movie that doesn't have music.
Yeah, but I think they're like the most important
parts. That's like a very Christopher Nolan thing, though. I was like, obviously watching this, thinking back to like Tenet or Dark Knight Rises, where I'm still like very, very critical of the sound mixing of both of those, especially Tenet, where it's just so loud, but the dialogue is just so quiet.
Do you know what? Someone said that in their like little review about how the music drowned out the speech, but I didn't really.
Whereas I think in this, it does occasionally fall into that, but I didn't feel like it was ever as distracting as that. And I actually think the sound mixing is really, really great.
Yeah.
Well, that's good then, because I mean, I didn't really, I don't know, I just thought everything was kind of loud-ish.
It is very loud, very noisy, but I think it's very purposeful and it works super well. Whereas I feel like in Tenet, it's quite grating and annoying.
I also think that our view in particular, that there's like particular screens that are so much louder than the other ones.
Yes, screen 1 is always really loud.
And so much hotter. It was boiling in there for like no reason.
Yeah.
Both these screenings were very hot.
I only felt it in the first one, but I think that's just, I don't know, the instant I sat down, I was like, like you feel like the wolf, like when you walk into a shop and it's like blast of heat. That's what I felt like. And I was like, this is...
Yeah, it was like cold and raining outside as well.
Yeah,
so
it was
like
a bit
wore
of a...
jeans, like a coat to go in there.
It was like a culture shock.
Yeah. It was a bit hot. Yeah. All things aside for the cinema, I thought like a really solid movie, and especially like after Tenet, I think when he has like a story that he wants to tell, he's very good at telling that story. Tenet, I don't know. I like that movie, but I like it because it's just batshit. Like nothing makes sense.
That's the only thing I like about it, really.
There's like, he's doing balls to the wall shit in that movie that like, it just felt like a fever dream that he had.
Yeah.
And where I think there's no reason for Tenet to be as loud and overbearing as it is, because it's like a spy espionage thriller type of thing. This, where it's like about bombs, it's got a reason to be loud and have noise constantly going through it. So I didn't, as much as I don't even feel like it was like overbearing, the noise factor for me. And especially like at the actual sequence where they detonate the atomic bomb, I think they handle it all so well. And in terms of like the balancing of sound and visuals and that, I think they just do such a fabulous job with it. I think probably he learned a bit from Tenet and everybody complaining that it was fucking loud.
Yeah, I think so.
I haven't seen it, so I can only comment on when I saw it.
I've not seen it since I saw it in the cinema, so I don't know how it would be at home with subtitles and shit.
Better.
I bet so, I reckon
I've seen it about 3 times now. I've seen it, okay, well, once I saw it in the cinema, and I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. I got the 4K for it. I watched it again with subtitles, and it's a lot better when you can understand what they're saying. Go figure. And then I watched it again with the audio for the visually impaired.
Yeah.
So it sort of tells you what's happening.
Yeah.
Like, well, this will be interesting, because I have no fucking clue what's happening in this movie. So if somebody explains what's happening, it's so funny.
Does that make it better at least?
It's well, I don't know better, but it's funnier.
Okay. Oh, I mean, or at least is it more understand? I don't know, because I know nothing about it other than
yeah. I guess you could understand it a bit better, but it's not really a movie that needs to be understood. You know, they even say it in that movie, like, don't try to understand it, just feel it. I'm like, shut up, Christopher Nolan, just make something that people understand. But he made it with Oppenheimer.
Yeah, definitely.
Clearly he wanted to make it was clearly like a massive passion project. He gets people in the cinema.
Well, the thing is, it's also a movie that, because it's a real story, there's only so much you can just like make up and just shove in there, right? Like, you can't just be like, and then Oppenheimer flew into a plane and landed on the English Gulf or whatever, and it's like, well, obviously not, you know what I mean?
The man from Tenet came into Oppenheimer's bedroom.
Yeah, like, there's only so much you can do with a story.
I think Christopher Nolan's one of like the few like directors who it's like a household name, and people will go to see a Christopher Nolan movie. He always has these huge budgets, but like he delivers, and like every single film, I think apart from Tenet, is always like a huge success with him.
And Tenet, you know, it had like, who's to say if it wasn't released when it was, it would have done better.
It would have done better, I think. It was
what came out in the lockdown, didn't it?
Yeah, it was like one of the first films that came out like when things started opening up again, so
that was their test drive.
Yeah, and it failed miserably.
Did it?
Yeah, it did. It's a shame. But then to bounce back, create something that's arguably even more insane and bombastic, for another word, I don't know.
It led to him falling out with Warner Brothers as well. So I think this is like his first film in decades not put out by Warner Brothers, put out by Universal instead.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is, though?
He fell out with them because of, well, they didn't like how pushy he was to get it out by like during COVID. And he also didn't like the fact that they were trying to push him to like put it out on digital.
Oh, so we're talking about Tenet now.
Yeah.
I don't know, I was thinking about Oppenheimer because that was obviously Universal as well.
Yeah,
so.
And then Warner Brothers were like, we're going to put all of our movies out from now on HBO Max, like alongside their theatrical releases. And I think Christopher Nolan was like, well, then I'm not going to work with you guys anymore.
Well, it's just...
Good for him.
Well, yeah, because obviously as someone whose career, you know, is kind of live and die by the cinema, if you're then just going to watch it at home.
He is a purist. He has to.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm
getting at. He wants all of his movies to be seen in IMAX cinemas, and he shoots exclusively on film.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm actually just reading about the movie now on IMDb, about the black and white segments, to be precise.
It's not possible for us to see it in IMAX. We don't have an IMAX near us.
Well, there's one in Chichester, as I was told yesterday.
That's ages away.
By Chris. I know it is quite far, but I mean, I don't know. I'd consider it because I feel like it would look pretty sexy.
Oh yeah,
it would look delicious. Is If I'm correct, is that the one that it goes like 270? Is it the one that goes over the sides, like the screen? Sorry, I'm just chatting shit.
I think so, but I've never been seeing an IMAX movie. I think it's just a huge screen.
Because I went to see that Star Trek movie in 3D, and I think it was at an IMAX, and the screen goes like almost like to the sides.
I don't know,
but I don't know if it was IMAX or not. But it was fucking horrible because it was giving me like jet lag the whole time.
Well, we got the biggest cinema screen on the south coast. I was actually talking about this with Chris yesterday. I would love to see it again, but I can't go and sit at number 6 because it's uncomfortable. I would have to sit on the floor at the front where there's no seats. Huh? You'd have to bring a cushion, some blankets.
The thing is, if I could
it up a bit.
People do that all the time.
I'm actually debating it because I would go and see it again, but it's just so uncomfortable. I can't. Oh, and also because it's 3 hours, I'm gonna have to can we stop the movie for roughly a minute and a half so I can go to the toilet? Saying that, if I've already seen it, I can just leave and come back now. But I didn't want to leave, so I spent the whole. I think it was about the last hour and a bit because there was a guy in front of Max who was constantly checking the time. One which was annoying but also quite useful. So it got to about 3:30. He checks his phone and I go, "All right, we've got about an hour left of this. I think I can do this." And then I was like, "Okay, I'm going to get up now." And then there was this one bit right near the end. I say right near the end. It was like 20 minutes to the end. And I was like, "Do I go? Do I stay?" And I'm about to get up, and I think, "Oh, it's just getting to the part where we find out about stuff." And I'm like, "Let's sit the fuck back down again."
Well, as soon as the credits came on, you bolted.
I was like, "Chris, I
thought you and Chris had an argument."
No, I was like, "Chris, I did a cough earlier and I may or may not have pissed myself. I'm going to have to go." I didn't. I actually didn't. I checked. But I thought I did. So I was like, "Chris, I'm going to have to leave you now." I just bolted. I never ran so quick.
You also weren't feeling well
I
the
was
whole day.
So ill before the movie. I actually thought I was going to be sick. I was like, "Okay, I need to just sit down for a minute." I felt awful.
Mate, with what happens in this movie, I thought I was going to be sick.
Yeah. Oh, this is such a
weird fucking movie for Nolan to make. I know he said that it was kind of like a horror movie.
Yeah, it kind of is, yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, I mean,
there were parts of it that were, man.
Yeah,
parts of it I was like terrified.
There's that scene especially where he's like goes to that big rally.
When he starts talking.
And he starts like seeing people melting and shit. There's like a jump scare in it and everything.
Oh, what? Where he's like standing in some person's like ashened corpse. Jesus fucking
that's,
Christ.
Horrifying. That's one of the most disturbing things I've seen this year.
My brain just immediately went, horror movie material. I didn't even think anything about it. It was
I thought it was like the perfect way they could have done that as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like there's no way you can like show this. You can't show a movie like this and be like, "The American Dream, we won," right? You can't do that. You have to. I enjoyed the fact that it didn't stop after he had detonated.
That's kind of how I thought it was going to end.
And also that they had bombed Japan twice. You can't, because the whole time I was thinking it was just horrible, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it was just. I couldn't even imagine what these people were feeling, but everybody was there like, "Woo, America, go America, we did it." I'm like, "You didn't do shit, man. It's horrendous what happened."
Yeah.
So you can't have a movie like this and be like, "We did it."
Especially
so I'm so glad that there was like a toll that was taken on this character of Oppenheimer,
right?
where it just like he felt so horrific about it. He was like saying that he felt like he had blood on his hands. I'm like, thank God.
Yeah, like imagine that, like, you know, that bit where he's sitting with, I don't know, the people that obviously like in his committee or whatever, and they're like, and look at these pictures of like people 30 days after the bomb had gone off. Look, they're all dying from radiation poisoning. Isn't that fun? And he's just like, "Oh, this is fucking awful."
I think a big part of Oppenheimer's story is his regret and like grief for what he had committed and like his actions to kind of fight against that kind of shit happening again. So I feel like if it ended just with the bomb going off, then it just wouldn't have been the same movie.
Do you know what? That's how I thought it was going to end, because I guess the trailers kind of made it seem like, you know, this whole thing, he was going to like, you know, go into the whole, "I'm going to make this thing, I'm going to do this thing." And I thought that's how it was going to end, because they were going to be like, "Yeah, we did it, guys." But it was it was definitely a lot.
For Oppenheimer, by the way. I mean, obviously.
I mean, let's be honest. We've already ruined some of it. So
I'm so sorry, but whatever. This is the format of the podcast. We don't give spoiler alerts. Just watch them. Everybody's seen
Chris
it. Everyone has seen it.
Chris just puts them on the.
It's in the description.
I love this. Right, so
read the description.
When we were watching the marathon earlier, there was. It's because it's come up again. And it's making me laugh because it's so stupid. Where it was like, Oppenheimer is not showing in Japan for a very significant reason. I was like, it's an obvious reason. What do you mean? Like, there's a reason why people don't want to see that in Japan, probably. Like,
we've all seen the memes.
Like, to be respectful, why is this a headline article? Like, it's just so obvious. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Because they're like, what's the release date in Japan? And everyone's like, no.
Release date in Japan.
What do you mean?
It was a point that was made in the movie where they thought that potentially it could have just destroyed the entire world with this like sort of chain reaction that would ignite the entire atmosphere of the whole world. It is so like horrendous and terrifying, and especially like and how they explain it as well. I thought he was definitely leaning more into like sort of channeling David Fincher in a way when he was doing all of his explanations of stuff. It really reminded me of like Zodiac a lot, how they would just like, you just see people in a room talking and it's like insanely gripping because you understand like the ramifications of it and like what could actually happen. And there was a point made like right at the very end where they said, well, we thought that it could destroy the entire world, but I think it actually did. And it's like, oh man, it's true. Like it was never, the world was never the same again. And just like these details that people keep telling Oppenheimer, like, this is like the most insane, the biggest bomb in the world that's ever been made. And somebody tells them, until somebody else makes a bigger one. It's like, it's always going to be this escalation. It's always going to be like more and more. And it's like, it's not safe with us. This technology is not safe with us. It's, they put like a quote at the beginning about Prometheus and how he stole fire from the gods and gave it to humanity and how he was tortured for eternity for that. It's like, it's such a good narrative thread to put through the movie, and they sort of reference it every so often. It's crazy stuff.
I love that with this movie, Christopher Nolan kind of shows off how good a writer he is. It's like with his last couple movies, Dunkirk and Tenet, that's not really like the focus of it. So it's nice to see him go back to just kind of showing off his writing skills, because I think that's like one of his most underrated traits. Yeah,
he's a big guy on a spectacle.
Yeah.
Sometimes the writing can get lost a bit. I think about like, I don't know, I really like Interstellar. I think that's like such a tremendously well-written movie. Yeah. But like, there are parts of it where I'm like, well, I don't know. Ever so slightly. But then like, I don't know. Like The Dark Knight Rises, that's a bit, or Tenet is a bit scattershot in terms of the writing, because I just think he ran with a concept and didn't give too much thought about how to execute it in terms of the writing as a whole. Yeah. It's very much spectacle, that movie. But this is, Oppenheimer, I think, is such a good blend of both, of exactly what he can do really, really well. And he gets to showcase it all in this. It's like probably one of his best movies, I think. If I watch it again, I'd probably think maybe it was like a masterpiece. Because there's so much information they're throwing at you. I don't know if I got it all in this one sitting.
Yeah, that's kind of what, when I bolted out, that's kind of, well, not to those words, but that's what, I was listening to this couple on the way out, and one of them said, there was just like a lot of information given at once. And I do actually think for 3 hours worth, you are kind of, it is constant, isn't it? Because you're just constantly being talked at over and over. But I never felt like I was in there for like 3 hours. Not what I mean is not a minute is wasted, quote unquote. Like, I don't know. It was one of those where I thought I didn't really know what to think about it going in, because I was like, don't know if I care about this that much.
For me, it did feel like 3 hours, but not in a way where I was bored or felt like it was.
It wasn't it wasn't dragging.
It did feel like 3 hours, but in a good way.
It would have felt like probably worse, or like you've been robbed a bit if it felt like it was 90 minutes or something.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think you would be able to do this in an hour and a half. I feel like, you'd just be like rushing to get to the conclusion, surely. I mean, maybe maybe you could have done it in 2 if we're gonna push maybe for
I feel like
time.
you probably would have lost a lot of important things.
Yeah.
Because the film, I feel like it is kind of a character study. It really like delves into this character of Oppenheimer, and
what are they going to do? Oppenheimer 2?
I feel like
we have to make another one. Oppenheimer the opening.
I feel like if you shortened it down, there'll be a lot of like character development and shit that would be cut out. Because there's a lot of scenes where I feel like it's easy to look at it and go, oh, that's a bit pointless, or that doesn't need to be there. But I think in what he's trying to do, I feel like every single second is necessary.
Yeah, I am one of those people that I am currently just reading through reviews. And do you know what? It's very hard to find one that's been bad. Although some people just said it's like kind of boring, which I mean, I didn't think it was boring, and that's coming from me. I get bored like this, but I could see why someone
felt like that was the type of movie you would engage with.
Yeah,
maybe that's what I mean. Like it could be boring to them because maybe if it's not interesting to you, then of course you're going to be bored because heavy dialogue, not a lot of boom booms going on. You know what I mean? Like if you're not into that kind of thing, then I guess it is kind of boring in a way.
Barbenheimer is such a phenomenon because the Barbie audience is not the audience stereotypically for the Oppenheimer audience and vice versa, and yet they've reached this sort of middle ground where everybody's talking about doing Barbenheimer.
So now everyone's doing
much of a juxtaposition. But if you're like not engaged with this story, I would completely understand because it's definitely not for everyone. It is like one of the talkies.
It definitely is a talkie.
So if you're not really into that sort of thing, I get it. I just think like I run in these circles where like this is exactly the movie for me, but also like Barbie could also be exactly the movie for me as well because it's coming from like these really acclaimed directors and like there's a lot of backing behind it.
Yeah,
but I never felt bored like at all.
No, I didn't, and I was actually kind of surprised because I mean, wasn't I surprised? I don't know. You know, when I didn't read anything into it like before I went in. You know, I didn't really know anything about it other than Cillian Murphy kind of does look a bit like the Oppenheimer guy. Strangely, good casting. Blah blah blah.
It's really good casting. Yeah,
but like I don't know. I was just kind of going, am I gonna like this? And for the first like 10 or 15 minutes I thought maybe not, and then it just sort of changed into this sort of like fuckery of a movie, and I was like, okay, cool, like whatever. Like I don't know, it was more interesting to me because obviously like it actually did happen, but the thing is you know what's going to happen, but yet you're still sitting on the fucking edge of your seat going, please don't blow up the whole fucking world, even though I'm living right now and I know you don't. Please don't do it. Like, was anyone else thinking Josh Pecker's going to fucking touch that fucking button? He's going to kill us all. And I was like, of course he's not going to fucking kill us all because he's literally... Because we're sitting here watching the movie.
Drake, where's the button for the atomic bomb?
I don't know. It's just... I don't know. It's like a testament to a movie when you're still like tense, even though you know what's going to happen.
Well, I was on the edge of my seat.
Like, why?
I was like almost shaking like during that atomic bomb test sequence. I'm like, that was fucked up.
I was also what I liked about that scene in particular was that I thought, right, so I had my little loopies in and I was like, right, I am ready. This is going to blow off my fucking ears. The opposite. Fucking silence. I thought that was better, you know.
Music.
I thought that was better.
The score does not play and it's all complete silence. I love like the sound design with like all the test stuff that they do with like blowing up things. It doesn't. You see it blow up, and then like a second later, you'll hear it because the wave passes over them after such a time.
That's exactly what would happen.
That is literally how that kind of noise works, right? Like you don't hear it instantaneously because it's just not how it happens. But I kind of like that.
Yeah. No, that whole thing was like.
Yeah, it was very well done.
I feel like so much of it was practical. I don't.
Yeah, like apparently there was no CGI at all. It's all practical.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't know how they managed that.
You're able to see on this massive screen. It's like, oh my God, he's always pushing the boat. He's always trying to do something new. And he always kind of seems to manage it. As much as like, I don't think you can take away from his movies what you want. And like, sometimes they're not like, oh, that one wasn't as good as this one. But he's always showing you something you've never seen before. I do think he's trying to push the boat out in that way.
Yeah. I think on the technical level, I'd say this is his best movie.
Well, it was insane. But like, I saw like a video of people who were working on the movie who were like, "We are shitting ourselves because we know that Nolan's going to want to do it like practical. Like, how are we going to do this?"
You see that interview he had where he said that he was flattered that people think that he would actually launch a nuclear bomb.
I don't know how he did that. I feel like that's something that I really like want to find out. How did he do that? How did he make it? No, how did he make it? I mean, how did you pull that off? That's what I want to know.
Probably like miniatures.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I guess you could blow them up, can't you? Like digitally afterwards, I suppose.
Yeah, there's like so much like the plumes of smoke in the explosion.
Yeah, man.
How that like erupts upwards and outwards. There's like, I don't know how you would do it with a miniature. I feel like, I don't know, if they were like in the middle of nowhere, you could sort of do something a bit bigger, not like world ending, but I feel like there was something there. You saw like the promotional images for it and like going, like they were out in the desert blowing up these bombs that looked pretty wild.
They did. They look sick.
Yeah, I think he knows what he wants. And like he's not going to blow up the world. I don't think. Maybe in the next one for Oppenheimer 2.
Yeah, can't wait.
Sorry, so once again, I've hit the rabbit hole of like finding reviews on this movie, and I've just found one called Nolan, the Depeche Mode of the film world. What the fuck?
Yeah.
So the first line is, in the electronic synth world, it's a sin to criticize anything Depeche Mode do. I feel like it's the same about Nolan movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, what is this? And they're like, this movie is confusing and boring.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, there we go.
Yeah. Is it? I don't think so. Right. I think what people are talking about here is, once again, I saw a video for this before I went in, so I wasn't confused. But they're talking about the backwards subjective and objective views in colour and black and white. And that's what they're talking about, is how confusing that was. But once I watched that video, I was like, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little confused as to who every character was and what their role was. But
I wasn't too upset by the end of it, though.
No. I think by the end of it, I was like, okay, that makes sense.
What's
now.
you have 3 hours to kind of piece it out in your mind. Like, it's a bit like Cloud Atlas. That was one of the most confusing films I've ever seen.
Yeah, this is no Cloud Atlas.
Oh, no, but I, in terms of like, you have to figure it out as you're watching it. Like, what the fuck is happening in Cloud Atlas?
As far as like the casting goes, everyone is in this movie.
Yeah.
As soon as like some other guy showed up, it was always like some white guy. So every white guy in Hollywood, like, I don't know,
So
you can't change Nolan that much. Just like shows up and like, oh look, it's Casey Affleck for some reason. Oh look, it's Robert Downey Jr., Benny Safdie, Florence Pugh, Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt.
Well, you had
Emily Blunt. Yeah, I'm just gonna.
Like, you had Rami Malek, but he's
I thought he would do more.
He's not a white guy though, is he?
No, but he was there.
That is true. He was there.
You have Dexter's dad.
Dexter's dad comes in. Yeah.
Do you know what? That was
Matt Damon.
That was the surprise of the movie for me. Me and Chris was like, man?
Josh Peck from Drake and Josh.
Yeah.
Jen
I already
from
knew
The
that,
Boys.
Yeah, Josh Hartnett was in it as well.
Josh Hartnett, yeah.
The Bridge to Terabithia guy. Is that who? No, I don't know his name. That's
It's
Josh.
something like that. It's close.
Who is that one? That guy.
Oh, who the fuck is that? He has a great name in this movie, though.
Tom Conti as Einstein. He was good.
Yeah, he went.
Do you know what? Why
very well.
Is it weird that I didn't expect Einstein to be alive at this point? I don't know where that came from in my brain. But when they were like, he's here most afternoons, and I look out and I'm like, that geezer looks like Einstein. I was like, what is he doing? Why is Einstein alive?
He revolutionised so much shit. It's like hard to believe that he was alive that recently.
Yeah, I know. I really didn't think he was.
He's a timeless man.
Yeah.
You know?
It was. That was quite something.
David Dasmalchian. I feel like he's in everything now.
Yeah, he is. He's always there. He's the spot
weird
guy
guy
from Suicide Squad.
And
Prisoners.
Yeah.
And Ant-Man. Gary Oldman as Harry Truman.
Yeah, that was fun.
Dane DeHaan. As soon as Dane DeHaan showed up, I was like, oh god, here we go. No, he was all right. It wasn't too bad.
I think everyone was really good in this.
Yeah.
To be honest, the acting was there wasn't
On
anyone
point.
out of place, I don't
No.
think.
Yeah,
They
I
all
mean,
knew the assignment.
Cillian Murphy was pretty insane in it. I think he was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like he had to be though, right? You can't cast him for a role of a lifetime and then be shit. It just doesn't happen.
No,
I think
he's not bad in anything.
It's already getting obviously a lot of award buzz for his performance.
Yeah, everyone's like, Oscar?
I think now it's the front runner for Best Picture this year.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. They
I
like
mean,
biopics
it is
as well,
only
I think.
July, but I'll let it be because does Nolan win every? I don't know. Does he win every Oscar he's ever
never
been?
won a single Oscar.
He's never won one.
No, he's been nominated once or twice, I think.
Okay.
I think only once, actually. His Dunkirk was the first film he was nominated for.
Right.
Okay. I don't know. I just thought.
He's mad.
I don't know. I just thought with his caliber and popularity, I thought he would
Surely
have won
Interstellar was
something.
nominated for VFX.
Yeah, I think, his films, I think, always get nominated, but he's only been nominated for director once.
Right.
I feel
I don't
like
think they've ever been nominated for Best
this
Picture.
movie
apart
should
from
definitely
Dunkirk.
win something in terms of
Visuals.
yeah,
VFX,
I don't know. Is there one for practical effect? I don't
Just
fucking
VFX.
remember.
Isn't it? Visual effects.
Does that count?
encapsulates
Does
it
count?
all.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah, because I don't know whether it's all digital or whatever, but if not, this does deserve to win that because
Yeah,
that was
I don't know.
that was
If
insane.
you get it for anything.
Oh yeah, maybe,
Nominated
but
for anything. Best
if I
animated
was going to
feature.
give it to anything, it would be for that visual
Yeah, I think
stuff
the ones
alone.
I've seen the most be visuals, Best
100%.
Picture, Best Actor, and Best Supporting Actor for Robert Downey Jr.
Robert, yeah, I've heard a lot about
which
how
I can highly see because they love giving legacy awards out, and he's never won. So
But he pulls it out the bag.
he does.
yeah, and he is great in it as well.
He is.
So he would deserve it.
He would
do-
deserve it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like a Jamie Lee Curtis from last year. who
No.
What was
didn't
that
really
all
deserve
about?
it.
Was that
What the
just
fuck?
like?
That was a legacy award.
Stole
Oh, okay,
Stephanie
yeah,
Sue's
yeah.
award.
Thing is, even if it was a legacy award, is that such a bad
I mean,
thing?
she was good in that movie.
Mm.
I wasn't mad about it, but I wouldn't say she was the best supporting actor in that
Maybe.
movie or nominated that year.
That was for Everything Everywhere, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's another one of those films though, where everyone was so good that it's like, who'd you pick out of the best? Like, I don't fucking know. Give it to all of them. Just have a collective award where everyone in the movie gets a thing.
I thought Emily Blunt was really good in the movie.
Emily Blunt was really good.
I love her.
Yeah,
Florence
so
Pugh
good.
wasn't
She is
in it
great.
enough
Florence
for me.
Pugh. Florence Pugh constantly just tells you with every performance that she's like one of the best that's out there in
That
like
is
the
true.
modern cinema scene. And then she pulls off like really great performances in every movie she's in. There's never a point where I'm like, I always see a character when she plays a character. Whereas, I don't know, you could say like Robert Downey Jr., you don't always see the character. You see Robert Downey Jr., he's such a high figure in that case. But like Florence Pugh, she's just constantly doing it. She's just an actor. I really respect her for that. Even like the weaker ones, like Hello Darling.
It's not even called that.
It's called something.
No, that film wasn't amazing, but she was really good in it. If I'm going to give it as G's. So I'm just reading some more reviews because I love it. I just love reading like reviews like, oh, Florence Pugh was great, but because they made her naked, it overshadows her acting. And I'm like,
Not true.
does it? Like, she's only naked for about 40 seconds.
She's
Not
only
really,
naked for
that
40
was about like a
seconds.
good 2 minutes, but still. You know what I mean?
She's
Like,
naked in it for like half the runtime that she's in it.
do you know what? I only remember the 2 parts that she's naked in.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of backlash about her role in the movie, about how she's just there, has sex, and that's about it.
Yeah, but the
I
thing is
definitely
that,
got that from it. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
no, but the thing is, the lady was real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
she was real.
yeah, and she was apparently she was a swell communist bisexual woman, and I was like, what a fucking hero.
Yeah.
But I mean, I understand what everyone means because, to be honest, she was pretty much just like a shag
Boozy
and go.
call,
But
yeah.
the thing is, she didn't even really like him though, apparently, because she was more into women and just got with Oppenheimer because he was really
there.
keen on shagging her.
What a Jew.
Apparently, I mean, I don't know how true that is because
Fair enough.
but that's basically the premise is that she didn't really like him all that much.
Well, I guess we can rate this one out of bisexual communists.
Oh hell yeah!
Are we getting into ratings then?
Yeah, I think we can.
Yeah, we've been talking for 50 minutes.
Right, well, there we go.
Shut up,
There we go.
have
There
we?
you go.
Yeah, this was a really great movie. I think it's one that I'll definitely love more on a second go when I can really take in everything that's going on, maybe with subtitles as well, when I can actually take it all in.
Do you know what? Why don't cinemas have them?
Some screens
do, but yeah, not enough.
It will also be better to watch it without loads of people walking in for like the first hour, because that was really distracting.
Yeah, that took me out.
Every time I was going on, I'd like see like a group of people trying to find their seats next to us, or like when that steward came in to kick someone out their seat and shit like that.
Yeah, he came and sat next to me after that, and I was like,
but yeah, I give it still 9 bisexual communists out of 10. I think it could easily go up to a 10 on the second viewing.
It's a triumph. It really is. It's not often that things like this have the hype behind them and they come together so well. But he did it. He did it again. He keeps doing it. Well done. I think it's just a big triumph for him. And, you know, I think he'll make movies for as long as he can. He's like a Scorsese in that way. I would give it, for now, I'll give it an 8 bisexual communists out of 10. I really like it, but I think it'll go up on a second watch. And maybe as well when I have the subtitles. We'll see.
I do enjoy the rating system that we've got in place today. Very good, very good. Yeah, I don't really have a lot to say that I haven't already said. I enjoyed it a lot, and therefore probably will watch again if I have a nice blanket and a nice pillow. 9 bisexual communists out of 10.
Lovely stuff. Part 2 of 2. Barbenheimer.
The Barbenheimer.
Barbie.
Yes.
In Barbie worlds.
Barbie.
This is about Barbie.
Barbie
by
girl.
Mattel. The doll of the century.
The doll who could.
The doll who could. We all know who Barbie is, so I'm not going to tell you. She's a doll. Well done. You've figured it out. This is about Barbie going in Barbie world, Barbie land, and all the Barbies are there. It's directed by Greta Gerwig, director of Little Women and Lady Bird.
Yeah.
And it's about Barbie. And she is going through some tough times, man. Oh, man, I keep thinking about all these weird things like death and stuff. What's happening to me, Weird Barbie? And Weird Barbie tells her, you have to go to the real world and talk to the girl who plays with you and tell her to stop being miserable. So she goes on her Barbie quest. This is the movie. That's the sort of ins and outs of it. That's sort of why you're there. It's a 12 rated movie, so it's not for little children. It's for me.
It's just for you.
Yeah, and we went out for some food, and then we went straight back into the cinema, ready for Barbie. We got our Barbie Tango Ice Blasts.
Cotton candy flavour. Very, very strawberry Skittle milkshake like.
Yeah, just ready to take it all in. It's just sort of contemplate the deep and philosophical concepts that Barbie brings to the table, which it does. And I'm not even joking. It's a movie that Wales Online has dubbed bizarre and anti-man.
No joke. I actually, I've seen that headline come up so many times.
Well, I wouldn't say that Wales Online is saying that. They're saying that critics are saying
the BBC said it was.
Anti-man.
I saw like a load of pictures on Twitter earlier where they've taken like the poster and put like highly negative reviews on the poster. There's a lot of people saying it's woke and it's anti-man and shit like that.
I really enjoyed, there's a meme going around of Ben Shapiro at the moment where Ben Shapiro is talking about how this movie's too woke, but then someone tweeted it saying, finally, a movie made for people of 12 inches and they're still not happy. And I love it.
He saw it and straight afterwards put out a 50-minute review on YouTube about how it's woke.
Who, Ben Shapiro?
Wow, yeah.
I'm 100% going to watch that. Actually, I have quite a long journey tomorrow to this festival that I'm going to, so I'm going to... It's the first thing that comes up when you type in Ben Shapiro.
Well, I mean... It is woke.
Ben Shapiro destroys the Barbie movie for 43.
It's one of those. It's more about like feminism and like women's place in the world. I had a really good time with it. I thought it was awesome. And it does sort of take this stance of like, in Barbie world, all the Barbies and the women are at the top of the world. They're in the places of power, in the positions of power. Whereas the Kens, They're more just sort of there to stand around and look pretty, and they do beach.
They are very, very
so
pretty
it's like
men.
the roles are reversed, sort of. And I guess I understand why people would take issue with this stance that it's taking. I understand. I don't agree with it, but I understand why you would come to that conclusion that it was anti-man, because it's basically just sort of putting a mirror up to us.
Yeah.
Going, this is what we're like. They go to the real world, and Ken goes to the real world, and he's like, all the men control everything. It's a patriarchy. This is amazing. He tries to do that in Barbie Land.
Yeah.
It's such a good movie to sort of show people and be like, it's stupid, isn't it? It's weird and strange.
Yeah, and there's a really great bit where Ken brings up the patriarchy in the real world, and the guy goes, that doesn't exist. We try and keep it quiet on the down low.
It's like we've gotten better at hiding it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you haven't. That's the problem. I think it's one of those movies that's like, I guess some people can take it on the chin, but other people, it's making them look too inwards in themselves, and they're like, shit, we're terrible.
Made me think too much about my biases. I don't like it.
Like, I don't know. I am kind of one of those people that like, I find very like quote unquote woke films a little bit annoying, but like it depends if it has something like actually like valid and constructive to say. But what I liked about this movie in particular was that not only was it kind of relatable, but there was also why are the men so not you guys in particular, why are the men so mad? There was literally an angle for which men can stand on their own 2 feet and not have to worry about like the societal norms and all that other shit. Just like, do you like, why are we mad? The film was for everyone, right? The film was like, you all can do better, you all deserve better.
Yeah, they're not taking this stance where it's like,
men are terrible.
World was, the gender roles were reversed, and it was women at the top and men at the bottom. The world would be a better place. It's not taking that
that's
angle.
not what they
it's
said.
Presenting you with that as a possibility and saying, here's sort of what it could be. The Barbie world is in direct juxtaposition to the real world. But and I think the conclusion that it comes to at the end is like, maybe if this spectrum that we're all on the left and the right, what if like you could meet in the middle and sort of be like, well, you can have parts of this that work quite well and parts of the other one that work quite well, and you meet in the middle. There's no in the game of like black and white. It's always, the solution is always somewhere in the grey.
Yeah, that's kind of what they tackle. I feel like the whole thing of the movie is that if women are on top or men are on top, then everyone's going to be against each other.
Yeah, I feel like either they're missing the point or they just instantly took to the idea that like everyone hates men. And I mean, I'm not saying I hate men. I'm not. No, but I mean, like, how you always make jokes about it, like, oh God, like the cis white man is like at the top and the bottom of the food chain simultaneously. I mean, that is actually kind of true. But like, I don't know. Like, I think there's got to be something to say about your perception of things if that is genuinely how you saw this movie. Like, as if, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, as an attack on men. Yeah. Like, I do understand that you could be angry at this movie, but like, isn't that the whole point? Like, you should be angry. Like, everything's fucked. Like, be mad because nothing's right. Like, Ken's not allowed to be sad. He just has to look pretty.
Yeah.
Why can't he be sad? Why can't Ken be Ken? And Barbie don't have to be Barbie. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like, what do you mean he's just Ken?
He is Ken-enough.
He is Ken-enough.
As we're talking about Ryan Gosling today, I thought, as a performance, he's probably my favourite in the movie.
The man has range.
He is fantastic in this movie.
He's like constantly cementing himself as like one of my favourite actors with everything he does.
He is one of my favourites. He is so good.
He's glorious.
He can do anything. He's just such a chameleon.
He's so good in this because he completely commits to it. He is like 100%. He's going harder than anyone else, I think.
Yeah.
Like, even in all the promotional stuff, he's basically in character. Like, we watched a GQ video on YouTube.
10 Ken items.
Yeah, it was like Ken Central items.
Ken Centrals.
Yeah.
Oh
and he was
my
like
God.
going through all the things you need to be a real Ken. And he was like, has the sunglasses, he has that horse's book.
I know.
All this shit.
I love him. I mean, so I just keep reading the same, like, I keep reading the same fact over and over and over again about that the reason why he's in the movie because of his daughter.
Yeah,
do you know what I'm talking
that was
about?
so good.
Every time I see it, I'm just reminded of just how willing he is to be like, yes, I will do this justice. And then he always does. Like, it doesn't matter how stupid it is. He's going for it.
He has no, like, reservations, I feel.
No, he's all
willing
in.
to jump into
always.
anything. As long as it's like, I feel like he's always trying to do something different.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is like, it's such a completely different role to anything he's ever done. I know he's done comedy before. This is like so much, like, he has to be someone entirely different.
Yeah,
like,
this is
literally
mad.
not even a person. Like, it's like a doll he's playing.
Yeah.
And he does it so well. It's like, this ripped guy.
He's a believable doll, isn't
Bleach
he?
blonde hair. He looks so much like a doll. He does it so well. Even like at the beginning, he's like such a simp, you know? There's like the narration that goes, Barbie has a great day every day. Ken only has a great day if Barbie looks at him. He does it all. He can do it all, man. I love that how they like go into this real world and he sort of sees things differently, like talk to different people. And that what you're saying, like, you know, the men rule the world here? And they're like, yeah, just keep it on the down low. He's like reading, he was like, Barbie, I learned so much. The men rule everything. Also the horses.
I do like the fact that near the end he was like, I got bored once I found out the patriarchy are not run by horses or something stupid like that. I thought that's exactly what Ken would say.
He fucks it all up. It's exactly what he should have done.
Yeah.
They take the routes that they need to take. And for like characterization, as much as like everyone is just I'm a Barbie, I'm a Ken. Like they're all like they're different guys. Even like Will Ferrell, who's like the CEO of Barbie. Great fucking scene where they go into the Barbie headquarters, Mattel, and it's all run by just men.
Yeah.
He was even really good.
Do you know what he actually was? I'm not even mad about it. He's
good at playing people with power. I mean, look at the Lego movie.
Yeah,
where he's
great stuff. He is good.
Yeah.
And I love that scene where like Barbie goes into Mattel headquarters and it's just like a bunch of men there. You're like, oh man, no.
I do like that.
Of course it is. Of course it's this.
And they're trying to justify it. And he's like,
no. We love women.
I know Jewish people.
Women, yeah. I know Jewish people.
What's that
There was a woman CEO once, maybe even twice. Got you.
Did you hear the whole like cinema just like scoff at when that guy was like, I've got no power, am I basically a woman? Everyone just went I have never heard so many people at the same time go, my God. Well, they did say that. It was like the noise they made. And I was like, damn. But at the same time, it was kind of, I don't know. That's the reaction that I kind of wanted when he said it. Because I was like, I want people to, to start getting angry. Like when I came home later that night and I was just like, once again, going through TikTok, I have some fucking problem on the fucking clock app. But there was a video that came up and it was Greta Gerwig talking about how, oh my God, is it Warner Brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah. They wanted to cut out that scene of when Barbie goes to the real world and tells that old lady on the bench that she's beautiful. And I was like, no, because she said, if I do, then what's the movie even about?
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's basically what the fucking movie is.
Yeah. I love how she goes into like the real world and she sort of sees people, like real people.
Yeah.
She's like, this is amazing. This is like, they're all beautiful. And like, I'm this sort of idealistic, I'm the stereotype Barbie. And all the girls, supposedly they look up to me because I'm the pretty one. And I'm like the stereotype of what should be the ideal pretty woman. But then as it goes along, it develops and she gets like, I have cellulite.
That cellulite thing was so funny.
I feel like the whole movie is kind of her accepting the fact that she's imperfect. If she wants to be a human, then she has to be imperfect. She can't be this like, you know, plastic doll that's perfect in every way.
Yeah. They even make a point of it by saying like, if you want to make this point, then Margot Robbie is not the correct person to cast.
She really wasn't.
Was so funny.
But like, I don't know. So what I think is great is that they had Margot Robbie, right? Who, like would be like the stereotypical person that you'd probably think of when you think of a Barbie, because she is who I would cast as Barbie, right?
She is perfect.
But then you have fucking America Ferrera, who is great in everything. She's so relatable. Like she's like gorgeous, but she's not like she's not Margot Robbie gorgeous, right? But she is gorgeous enough to be like relatable, and like everything she's ever been in, I'm just like, I fucking love her. Like, I feel like she's the type of person who's like gone through life understanding what it's like, because I mean some of these like really like famous people, you know, maybe I heard that Margot Robbie has like a 1.6k facial routine like that she does, and I'm like, this just isn't like real life. Like, people can't afford that kind of shit. It's not real, right? But there's something about America that I just, I love her. I love her in everything. She's great. She's amazing.
She was really good in this, to be fair.
She is probably my favourite part of this movie. I love her.
I really loved her
so much.
Relationship with her daughter. I feel like that was like the big like emotional hook for me. That was her relationship with her daughter, and how that they kind of strengthened like after this big divide between them.
Well, yeah, I guess it's also, I guess this girl's also a bit of like a free thinker, isn't she? Because she wasn't too keen on Barbie in the first place.
Yeah.
Because I guess a lot of, I don't know, maybe a lot of the youth these days are sort of like in tune with the idea that no one is Barbie, and that was like the whole point, right? That no one is Barbie, and even that woman who played the lady, you know,
with Barbie nowadays. I don't know.
No one fucking has a Barbie. Like, nobody.
No, I feel like kids still do. I mean, they still make them. They still clearly sell, but I don't know if it's the same as it was when we were.
They were huge back in the day. Huge.
I to be fair, I never had one, but
I don't know. It's like,
I had a baby born
is it
though.
Maybe then a good thing that this was rated a 12 and not like a PG movie, because they could sort of tell this story that they wanted to incorporate all these different ideas
to
kind of tell us and like our generation, and not be like this pretty nice funny movie for kids.
Yeah,
he definitely wants to say something a bit more.
If this was made like even like 20 years ago, it would have been a completely different movie. Like it kind of like reminds me a little bit of the Cat and the Hat movie in terms of how that's that's kind of an example of
explain
what
this
it
to me,
could be
please.
if it was done like 20 years ago. Because that's a film that is very hyper stylish, very like, it's got this crazy production design like this movie does. It's based off a famous IP, but it's done so poorly. Whereas this is like the complete inverse.
Ugly. Oh, what? The Cat and the Hat?
Yeah.
This movie looks wonderful.
This movie is like,
when they're in Barbie World, oh my god.
It's
the production design is immense. They just
so
like
sexy.
built it all in like this massive doll's house, and they just walk around walk around this doll's house, and it's crazy.
It looks exactly how it should.
Yeah.
It was like the sexiest thing I've seen. It was just like pink.
They all live in their like Barbie houses
it
with
was
like the
great.
open plan. So there's no windows or anything. They just sort of walk around.
Yeah,
they can fall off at any point, but they don't because they're Barbies. Go to the beach, there's like not really sand, but it's like the water's fake.
Yeah, the water's like plastic. There's a bit where Ken tries to surf and he runs into this giant plastic wave.
I like that bit where they had like the little pond on the floor that had like the ripples, but they could just walk on top of it because there's no water there. So they're just walking on top of it. Glorious. But I kind of like those attention to detail, especially like, you know, when she goes to the real world and the guys are like, would you like some water? And she just drops it all over herself.
Not used to having things in there. And the point where it like had me, I was like, all right, I'm in, was when she like runs out of that building and into this room with just this woman in it, played by Rhea Perlman, who was in Matilda. I was like, is she in Matilda?
And Cheers.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah,
and It's Always Sunny.
It was really weird. We're watching It's Always Sunny at the moment, the new season, and she showed up in an episode we watched the day before.
Oh, damn.
She was married to Danny DeVito for years.
Whoa.
Which is what makes Matilda even cooler.
Yeah.
In the Barbie-verse.
I love the idea that like, what is it? Like Will Ferrell just kind of goes, yes, her ghost has a room in the Mattel offices.
That was where it like had me.
Yeah.
That was where I was like, okay, this is like fully a weird art movie now.
That was the point that got me in.
Shot so well. It looks like it should be from another movie, but it fits very well in that movie. It's just this weird random room. This like glowy colour scheme to it, but you sort of sit and talk. Yeah,
it felt very like ethereal. It was almost like, I don't know, like this woman was like purgatory between like heaven and earth or something. You know what I mean? Like, you know when you sit in a room just before you die or something, you know?
She was like,
well, she was
basically
dead,
like the bridge between those two worlds, and was like the person convincing Barbie to whether she wanted to go to the real world or not, like permanently.
Mate, she was great. I loved her. She was.
Yeah, I really love her.
I loved it.
I've been watching through Cheers at the moment. She's so good in that as well.
The thing is, I was in it from the beginning. The second I saw that bubble gum fucking bright blue scenery, I was like, I am in. This is Barbie, bitch. But there's like loads of like weird like homages and shit in this movie. Like I like the Forrest Gump one. I like that one a lot.
Starts off with
The Good Place. Oh, there is a Good Place reference in here. Apparently, I've not seen it.
It starts off obviously with this whole sequence that parodies 2001.
Yeah,
and then later on
the giant doll thing.
Yeah, later on they kind of they reference the film Being There, because in that movie there's like the main character comes out into the real world for the first time, and there's like this remix of the song from 2001 that plays like over this montage of like this person discovering the real world. And they copy that with Ken, like discovering about men. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, it's great. It's so great. Honestly, I'm glad I sort of avoided the trailers. I didn't really watch them. So like when it starts and it's this 2001 A Space Odyssey scene, I felt like everybody had seen the trailer because nobody was laughing. And I was like, this is fucking hilarious.
The first trailer literally just showed that intro, the 2001 parody.
Oh, see, because I haven't seen it, it just kind of fell on deaf ears.
It's so good.
But then again, I went on the Clock app, and what happened? They were like, oh, look, it's supposed to be this. And I'm like, oh, okay, right, now I get it. But
just wait. When you eventually watch really 2001, then you'll know.
I just wonder. I know that, yeah, it's probably one of those things where it's like, it's probably for the people who, well, I mean, it's not saying that, I don't know, because it's quite a commercial movie, so it's not like, you know, it's not like a niche movie, right, that no one's ever seen.
It's one of the biggest movies ever.
But I also feel like, because it was like a 12A, it's obviously for like the parents that have bought their kids,
Being
right?
There's a pretty niche movie.
I've never even heard of it.
I didn't get that from it.
No, I only saw the Forrest Gump bit and went, that's fucking amazing.
I do like the Godfather part where he like sits and he's like, will you explain the Godfather to me?
That's what I want you two to do, actually.
No, I don't want to do that.
Unironically, I sat there and went, that's actually what I'd get Chris to do if I was watching The Godfather, because I have never seen it.
I love how that's how they sort of distract the Kens, by like sort of getting them to mansplain everything to them, like idiots. Oh, great sequence.
I love that bit. Actually, you just remind me somehow of when you know that Barbie's on Photoshop, because it just felt too relatable. I was like, man, Photoshop is a crack app, man. And they're like, I don't understand how to select things. Well, Barbie, have you tried highlighting the layer that you want? And I'm like, fuck off. I was laughing, but I was so angry.
I wrote that down. I was like, the layer.
Something I really loved about the movie, which I've seen quite mixed things about, is the music. There was like, they made a whole soundtrack album for, which is something that I feel like films like in the 90s and 2000s from when we were a kid did all the time. So it very rarely happens nowadays, but I always find it like so nostalgic when I see someone like has made an entire soundtrack album of new songs for the movie.
Yeah,
and
great.
I think a lot of the songs are really good as well.
Yeah.
Like a great Dua Lipa song, Dance the Night, where there's this whole like dance sequence that plays with it at the beginning. I really like that song.
I feel like this soundtrack was pretty much just made for me to kind of like, you know, I go to my nearest HMV and I'm like, I just saw Barbie, let's go get the soundtrack. And then I never listen to it ever again.
Great Pink Panther-esque song in it as well.
But I did have a lot of fun, though.
Has a song that plays in a chase sequence. That was fun.
Do you know what? I was actually bobbing along the whole time. I was actually having a whale of a time.
Yeah.
But it's not the kind of song that I would like, you know, go to the gym or like, I don't know, like even go, you know, like sitting in the car, I wouldn't go, oh yeah, let's put on the Barbie soundtrack. But like if someone put it on, I'd be like, oh man, this is bopping.
Like me with Speed Drive a lot at the moment. I keep putting that on.
Yeah, like it's catchy, but like, yeah, it's not something that I would be like, this is a classic.
And it also ends with Nicki Minaj and Ice Spice's new version of Barbie World.
I didn't like that. That's on TikTok all the time and I hate it.
I hadn't heard it before the movie. I thought it was all right.
No, I never heard it.
I'm surprised that you never have, because it is literally all over the TikTok app. I'm referring to Chris at this point because TikTok is all I ever do.
No, I'm not on it.
No, I need to delete it. I actually need to get rid of it and like wipe it from my brain holes, but I just can't.
Only you have the power.
I know. I don't have.
Yeah, I think Mark,
I'll just read the
Mark
reviews
Ronson,
again.
Like,
I love doing
produced
this.
the album, and I think he did a lot of the actual music for the movie as well. I think it's all really well done.
Yeah, I love it all.
It is very like commercialized, like sickly, highly produced pop music, but it really fits the tone that it's going for.
It would feel weird without it.
Yeah, definitely.
It would feel weird if they didn't have these like weird dance sequences with each. Everything is great, isn't it?
Yeah, and the I'm Just a Ken or whatever that musical number is.
Oh, what?
Just a Ken, yeah.
That song. What is that? What it's called? I'm Just a Ken.
It's like I don't know the name of it, but it's the one where it's
guitar solo from Slash in it.
I tried so hard to like not listen to that song beforehand because once again TikTok got a hold of it.
Yeah,
and I was like, don't listen to it. So every time I'd see it come up, I was like, not today. I want to hear it in its glory.
It's fun.
And I didn't. It was great. So
I love Ken taking over, and then the radio was like, now it's Ken's world. We're playing everything that Ken likes. It's like these like classic rock tunes that are playing.
To be fair, why not?
Yeah, I think there's a bit where they're like, all the Kens have got guitars and they're covering Matchbox 20.
Yeah.
Once again, I love reading reviews on people that like, don't take your kids to see this movie as if it was made for children.
It's the 12.
You could take your kids to this movie.
Yeah,
no, everyone's just saying, why are they saying don't do it, actually? You guys carry on, I'm going to go. That's probably why. Let me go have a read.
Yeah, I can kind of understand it if you're like, there's too many like sexual innuendos and shit. But I feel
maybe,
like
to be fair.
For kids, that's just going to go over their head. They're not going to understand that.
Such a fun
They're not going to understand what the beach off bit.
No.
Do you know what? That bit was fucking funny.
So funny. Beach off. My God.
Now I can't find.
No, can't find. Damn.
I can't find where I just. Oh no, I found it again. So I love it. They've given it a 10 out of 10, but they were like, don't do that because there's too many like innuendos. Like Barbie just says the word vagina and Ken's talking about genitals. This is not a movie for children.
I can't know we have genitals.
Although they did give it a 10 out of 10. So this is like the strange divide, right? Where you can't be the kind of like conservative Christian parent that's like, oh my God, this is like the devil stuff. Because, they would hate this. And they're like, oh, I loved it. But too many talks about the woman areas.
Yeah, I mean, Barbie literally gets smacked on the ass.
Yeah, and like, do you know what? I don't know what to say to that. That's quite I mean, that is actually quite a lot of what these people are saying is like, the marketing's made me feel like I could take my kid to this, but I shouldn't have. And I was like, no, you probably shouldn't have.
I don't know. I don't think it's like a bad movie for kids.
I don't know if I would have.
I think a lot of it would go over your head.
Yeah, that's basically what. Yeah, when I left the cinema, I didn't leave. I went to the toilet afterwards, and that is literally what this woman said. She was like, "How much do you think went over that kid's head?" And she was just like, "Yeah, she probably just thought it was cute."
Yeah.
Most of them probably don't think
it's not like showing
it.
Irreversible to a child.
No,
but it's like it's not.
Jesus Christ. What an extreme example.
Yeah, but like that, when you show a child something like that, it's going to do some damage. But if you show a child Barbie, it's not going to do damage. It might go over their heads or they might be a bit bored at times.
Yeah.
But it's, it's not, not for kids.
Like when I watched like Futurama or The Simpsons as a kid, like that's filled with like sexual innuendos and shit, but you don't understand as a kid. It's only when you're older.
Only when you go back to Shrek that you understand the nuance.
Yeah.
What does that even mean? So I'm looking up a word that someone put in their review. Regisaur. That's one of the big dinosaurs of the old Paleolithic era. It
I can explain it to you if you want in more detail.
Don't you mansplain to me what a Regisaur is. No, it just says, the Regisaur didn't have a vision. She just hurried up and created a piece of something to get people to gather money.
Yeah,
I think this person was like...
Basically, it's the king, regional, like the Reg is the king dinosaur. So they combined Reg and Saw, and they got a Regisaur.
Oh,
this is fucking dumb. It's like I'm listening to Max speak, but I'm also reading the rest of this review, and it's so dumb. Like, it is dumb. It is like, we took this person took. I think he's talking about Greta Gerwig. This is what I'm thinking. Took advantage of the big name and popularity of the Barbie toy, and I'm like, I feel like I don't know. People are saying the film's really shallow, but that's kind of the point.
I would not say it's shallow at all.
It's the opposite.
I think it's a very deep movie. I think people probably don't like it because it's very overt with its theme.
No, but it looks shallow is what I'm getting at. It's one of those, it looks superficial, But then I'm trying to hold back my tears when America Ferrera was talking about how no one's good enough for nothing. And I was like, don't you fucking cry in the cinema full of 10-year-olds right now. That's not how
it's exactly what it needs to be.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it should be.
I don't know if these people
feels super visual. It's because it needs to feel that way.
I think it was such a smart decision to get Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach on board as well, because they're such like great creatives.
Dream team.
And like giving them complete creative control, just letting them do whatever they wanted. Pretty much. It was just such a smart decision.
I'm also now annoyed because I'm now reading reviews about people who are like, oh, I can't believe that Barbie and Ken didn't get together, which would have totally like ruined the whole,
like the entire point of the movie.
They went, who is the target audience for this?
Me, baby. me is.
See, what I like about reading these reviews is that like I really love seeing what other people think of it, but I honestly think that I know like movies are meant to be subjective, but sometimes I think they do miss like the overarching like themes and points of these movies a lot of the time. Like from the things that I read of like people writing about them. I love reading all this. It's kind of like, Ryan Gosling is the best part of this movie, and I'm like, yeah, fair enough.
Should we get into ratings?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, sorry, I just realised what time it is. I love this.
This one, Kennedy.
Kennedy. Cool. You are Kenneth, guys.
Kenneth.
Yeah. Yeah, I had such a good time with this. I love Greta Gerwig. I'll watch anything she does. Like, she's not made a bad movie so far. It's basically like a 2-hour adaptation of that Simpsons episode, Lisa versus Malibu Stacy, whatever it's called.
That is what Twitter said, to be fair.
It's great. I had a really good time with it. Just such a powerful, well-made movie. I could definitely see myself watching it again. Give it 8 Kennedys out of 10.
Kennedy. Yeah. I love it so much. Greta Gerwig is one to look out for if you aren't already. You know anything that she does is going to be, lovely stuff. Thanks, Greta. And all the rest. Very smart decision to get, Greta Gerwig, Noah Baumbach, and the whole team that worked on this movie. It looks immaculate. It's well-paced, super funny, and it's saying something interesting. And it makes it's very introspective. I think the people who look at it and say, I'm sure there's valid criticism to level against the movie. I don't really want to level any criticism against it. It's just I had such a great time, but I think it will show maybe like bigots parts of themselves that they don't like. But that's why it's so good. I'm gonna give Barbie 8 Kennedys out of 10. I'm going to give the Barbenheimer experience 10 out of 10.
Yeah, it was such a good day.
Do you know what? I actually love that sentiment of rating Barbenheimer on its own, on its own merit. I just don't know what to say, because it was from start to finish a head bopping stimulation experience. So 10 Kennedys out of 10 for me.
Yes, baby.
And 10 out of 10 for Barbenheimer, by the way. Not that if you didn't know that already.
In September, we get to do it all over again with Saw Patrol.
Do you know what? I actually thought about bringing up Saw Patrol, but I didn't. On the basis that we're not going to go see Paw Patrol, so what's the point?
Just Saw.
Well, so hold on, I'm actually going to look that up now. When is that all meant to come out?
End of September, I think.
Something, isn't it?
Because Saw was meant to come out in October, and then they've changed it to September now.
Yeah, so it says October 27 on IMDb still, so I'm going to go to Paw Patrol, because obviously that will have the actual date that it's probably going to come. No, not that one. It's taking me to the show, not the movie. Oh my god, what is the movie even called? It's probably got a weird name. Oh, The Mighty Movie. That says October 13th, so do you know what? I don't know anymore.
Wrong.
I don't know anymore. It looks like a very bizarre movie, I must say. Kristen Bell's in it? Okay. Chris Rock's in it, therefore I must avoid it. What? Paw Patrol, sorry.
Okay.
So I'll go look at... The thing that I'm actually like, I'm not going to lie, is what I'm looking forward to the most is because of, was it Spiral was the last technically Saw, not Saw movie that we had, right?
Yeah.
But we get fucking Tobin Bell back, baby. Mwah. Fucking G. Sorry, we're talking about... what are we talking about?
Saw Patrol.
Saw Patrol.
Yeah.
And I said, well, we're not going to see Saw Patrol
New Saw movie set between the second and third movie. So
is that what it is?
Fuck up the timeline even more, and I cannot wait.
Woo!
The thing is, the timeline has been fucked up for movies.
It makes absolutely no sense.
Since movie roughly, I think it was like Saw 4, the whole thing has just been like, none of it makes sense. Like people have like, because I'm like obsessed with the Saw franchise, right? But I've seen people like try and go back and forth trying to piece it together. They can't do it because they're like, it can't be done. It doesn't make sense.
When they like the plot twist in Jigsaw, where it was like this whole thing is set before the first movie.
Oh yeah,
I don't think I've laughed harder in a movie.
Well, I hated that bit where like it's fucking. They're in that room, innit? And then Tobin Bell's like, yo, it's me. I'm not dead because I haven't even gotten that far yet. And I'm like, oh, God.
Nice.
Time for Ryan Gosling.
That's going to be one of the ones. It's not going to level the playing field as much as Barbenheimer.
No.
But, it'll certainly be up there.
Well, that's because...
Nobody fucking wants to see the Paw Patrol movie.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well,
and the thing is, I think that the age range has to be like so ridiculously different, right? Because if kids are gonna, I know obviously no kid's gonna be going to the Saw movie, but humour me for a minute, right? You can't go to the fucking Paw Patrol movie and then try and go to the Saw X movie because the crossover doesn't work. You can't do that.
No,
you just can't do it. So it's not even a thing even worth even considering doing, even if you are the correct age to see both movies.
No,
so
not for me.
I'm 100% going to go and see the Saw movie though, because I'm obsessed with those films. I watch them every day.
This episode is a bit late because we wanted to talk about Barbenheimer in the same episode that we talk about a bunch of Ryan Gosling movies. We watched a bunch of Ryan Gosling movies.
That is true, we did.
Notable Canadian actor. Prominent in both independent and major studio features. He's been around, and he's received various accolades. I'm just reading from his wiki, including Golden Globe Award and a nomination for 2 Academy Awards and a BAFTA Award. He was born in Canada, and he rose to prominence as a child actor at the age of 13 on Disney Channel's The Mickey Mouse Club.
Yes,
that he did.
He was.
He also went on to appear in other entertainment programs such as Goosebumps. Ooh.
Was he?
Yeah.
And Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah.
No way.
And obviously, since then, his career has grown, and he's been in many great movies and many interesting roles he's taken on. You said before, he's kind of a chameleon. He does not shy away from taking roles that feel out of his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he has a wheelhouse. I just think, it's anything and everything goes with him. He's one of my favourite actors. I'm very glad to be talking about 3 of his movies today. Technically 4. Half Nelson, Lars and the Real Girl, and Drive. We talked about a few Ryan Gosling movies before. What are those? Blade Runner 2049, The Nice Guys. We've done any others?
Let me have a look.
Well,
I haven't seen that many of his films, to be honest.
No, that's it.
Well, we got 4 more for the Ryan trophy chest. So Chris picked the first one. Do you want to explain what that is?
Yeah. The first one is Half Nelson from 2006, directed by Ryan Fleck, known for films such as Captain Marvel. And it's kind of a funny story.
Interesting.
Which I have seen. It's a good movie.
Oh, cool.
Better than Captain Marvel, at least.
No.
So this film, Ryan Gosling plays a school teacher called Dan Dunn, who secretly
Why did we do that?
lives a life of addiction.
Barely secretly.
Yeah. One day he's getting high in the school toilets and a student finds him. And the film's kind of about their connection after that. She's like the only person that knows about his struggles. But she's also got some shit going down in her family life. I think her brother's been arrested and like her brother's friend is a drug dealer. A lot of shit going down.
It's bleak, man.
It is bleak.
So bleak. Oh god, just relentless. He looks like absolute shit entire time. I'm surprised nobody's like, hey man, you look terrible all the time.
He looks like he's either high or like on the come down throughout the entire movie.
It's amazing what like growing a beard will do to a guy. Or like in the opposite direction. It will make or break you having a beard.
Yeah.
With Ryan Gosling, it's like he's such a good looking man, but like you put on a beard, you give him a beard, sort of patchy in places, He looks fucking awful. Not awful, but like, he looks like who he's supposed to be playing. Yeah. And I think he does a very good job at playing this character. This like desperate and lonely character. What is it you said, Chris? While we're watching these movies, you said, are we just watching movies with Ryan Gosling in where he just plays lonely people? I'm like,
that's a shtick.
That's just what he does.
Yeah,
he
I think after that I looked at his filmography, and that is the only character he plays.
Yeah,
just a lonely person. Just different variations of it.
Yeah, he can vary up, and he takes the lonely man and he makes it his own, and something different comes along from every movie. But he's very good in this, I think. He's it's balls to the wall, man. He's doing like some sort of harrowing performance. You see like this gaunt face and just getting high in the... You must have known that was a bad idea, man. In the school? What are you doing?
I think I feel like there's so much complexity to his performance in this. Like even the mannerisms, the like way he moves his body and shit. It like just captures the character so well. Like you can tell when he's high and when he's like at school and he's like on the come down. He's like had no sleep. He's like sobering up and he's trying to get through the day. He's like really struggling and he's like moving around, trying to like laugh and smile and shit. But you can tell that there's a lot going on. I think he does such a great job.
What about addiction and all that?
Yeah.
Like exploring how addiction will cripple you and turn you into someone else. This like one child is like all he has in the world. He's doing such a terrible job of maintaining his relationships to the point where I just don't think he cares enough to maintain his relationships. But like as the movie went on, I felt like it became more apparent that everybody was there to help him, but he just didn't want their help at all. And that was like so sad as the movie went on.
Well, it's like you don't know whether it's that he didn't want their help or that he was struggling to admit that he had a problem. There's like that scene where he's getting high with a person that he's met at a bar and he's like, oh, I used to be fucked up, man. I used to be like so far down the rabbit hole, but I'm fine now. Like I use every day, but like I can handle it.
Clean living, baby.
Yeah, he like very clearly just can't admit that he's got a problem and won't accept any help, because if he did, then he would accept that he's fucked up.
Totally, yeah. I think it's very much like a relentless movie. As much as I wasn't getting like so much from it emotionally. I think I appreciated what they were going for, but it doesn't like hit for me on a level that like other movies about addiction do. But it's like carried by these really good performances and just this tone it wants to cultivate, where like just this helplessness where it's sort of elicited. I like how he kind of interacts with people and kind of puts on a facade and kind of acts that he's different to who he really is. You got Anthony Mackie coming in and sort of there being this push and pull element between these two characters. Well, like I guess because he was a teacher, he felt like it was his job to protect the kid, and he didn't really know who this guy was, and that guy, Anthony Mackie, didn't really know who he was, and sort of pulling this child in different directions. It's quite sad to see.
Yeah, Anthony Mackie is so good in this movie as well. Like, I think pretty much the only things I've seen him in are like the Marvel movies and that one episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah.
So it's like nice to see him like with this like complex role, showing like how much range he has and doing such a great job at it. I'd love to see him do more of this kind of thing.
Yeah, he seems quite wasted in those Marvel movies.
Yeah, because that character is just like so bland and empty.
Yeah, he's got nothing going on.
Who is he?
He's Falcon.
I don't even know who the fuck the Falcon even is.
In America.
Yeah, he is the new Captain America.
That's pretty sad.
It's sad. I like there's this like thread where like I guess it was about like the machine and the man keeping us down. I wish like I got more out of what I was trying to say there. Just in terms of like giving us videos and about like people who gave speeches or whatever. And how the man keeps us down. I do like the scene where he's like in the school and he's teaching a class and he says, what is the machine? This machine that's keeping us down. And they say, oh, it's about the white man and it's about school's keeping us down. And they tell him that, hey, he's the machine, he's keeping us down. But he's just, I think when you're a kid, it's very easy to think when you're in school that the teachers that are there keep you down. or like nobody liked going to school, and the teachers are sort of part of that problem. But he was just like a guy, and like he felt that he was with them, and that like if he was part of the machine,
on their side,
they were also part of the machine. So I like this sort of overarching feeling of like just all these people are sort of like below this huge hulking
like
machine
that
is
machine.
The system that we all live under.
The machine is something bigger than all of us. Because like
it's very much apparent in like the way they shoot the movie as well, and how like drab and bleak it all looks. Like you go into people's houses, nobody has their curtains open this entire movie. So you go into everyone's houses, it's so dark and oh god, it just feels very oppressive, and like you just want them to open the curtains.
Like anytime you go into like his apartment, it's so like disgustingly brown and drab looking.
I feel like it's meant to be like, what do they call it? Heroin tar yellow? I think that's what they call it.
The only thing I didn't really like about the way it looked was it was like shot like an episode of The Office.
It was shaking around like God knows whose business.
I loved how it was handheld, how it's like quite claustrophobic, quite tightly shot, especially with Ryan Gosling's character. Like pretty much any scene he's in, the camera's like basically right up against him.
It's kind of gritty.
That's really great. I love how grainy and gritty it looks. Like it's shot on film, obviously, and it looks very dirty. But I just don't like the constant like zooms and shit. It literally looks like a Office or Parks and Rec episode or something.
It's just the only reason it kind of works is because if it was on like like clean, crisp film, it would look really weird. I think it would look out of place if it was.
Kind of shot like those Bourne movies.
Why'd you have to bring up the Bourne movies? You hear that, Max? You bring up the fucking Bourne movies.
Sort of. But where those Bourne movies are like action movies, they sort of have kind of an excuse to be shot that way.
Yeah, because they're moving around.
As soon as he's like just sat in a classroom and it's shaking around, it's going around like these students. This weird hard zooms
it's like
that they're doing. It's really strange.
It's kind of like they gave a kid a camera and said, right, just film me. And they're like, how do I work this fucking thing? It's mad.
I feel like I didn't understand what was going on in this movie as well. I don't know if they did like a bad job of introducing characters, probably not, but like I didn't really know who Anthony Mackie was until like the very end. It was like, oh, he's like a bad guy.
Yeah.
Well, I just thought that he was friends with this little girl for some reason.
No, he was just he's like her mum, like her, I don't know, like her mum's
like
a neighbor friend. Or something.
But he was a drug runner.
He was.
He gets Ray, the kid. He's like, you will bag coke for me, sort of trying to. I guess he like sort of felt like he needed Dre as well as like as much as Dan thought he needed Dre, and this like common thread between them both, but they're like doing it for completely different reasons. It was quite sad to see her fall into this sort of this area where she was ending up bagging coke for Anthony Mackie's character, Frank, and sort of delivering coke to people. I thought,
especially
it's like, and like because her dad was absent, like and her mum was an EMT, working in the EMT.
Yeah, and like
she has no real
male figures, I guess. Well, actually, no, I don't like saying that. No real
parental figures to look up to.
Yeah, true. And like
they're not really around all that much.
And the only other one is a massive drug head, base head, one
of them wants
he was described.
Peddle drugs, and the other one
is like
too fucked up on drugs.
Yeah, it's
but really wants to try to help her.
I guess it's kind of like I don't know. It's kind of like a vicious cycle of, I don't know. It just felt like it's one of those things that is almost like inevitable you're going to get involved in because you're around so much of it, like so much influence and stuff. But I mean, to be honest, I
don't know what the solution would have been.
That's the thing. The solution really is
up, I guess.
Yeah, it's just to like not do it in the first place. But when you're young,
yeah, she couldn't help it.
Yeah, like what was she gonna fucking do? Like nothing. So I don't even, that's not even. I don't know. There's too much about this movie to unpack, and I'm too tired to even get into like most of what I got out of it. But it's just, it's a hard one, man. It's a fucking hard one.
Yeah, we said earlier about like Ryan Gosling playing lonely characters a lot, but I think loneliness is like a big through line with this movie. It's like pretty much the main theme, I think. Pretty much, like especially the main two characters, they're like just so lonely. They don't really have anyone, and I think that's kind of part of the reason why they connect with each other so well. I think it does a really good job of exploring that theme in a way that's like quite hard to watch at times. It's quite bleak and depressing.
It's like a character breakdown, both figuratively and like literally.
There are a few points where I do think those like somber moments can be a little bit too much or a little bit too heavy-handed, to the point where it like kind of almost verges on like misery porn, like that scene where his cat dies.
Yeah,
or like when he's really fucked up and like basically rapes like a school teacher. Those scenes are a little bit too far.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate those.
Oh,
really.
the fuck! See, the thing about the cat part. See, I'm so fucking tired. This film is fucking killing me every single time we talk about it. The thing about the cat. Oh, fucking hell! It's one of those things, right, where it just doesn't get much more depressing than like the only like comfort and joy you had. You just walk it. They just fuck it. I
feel like that's like a cop out, in movies. Sometimes it's just like, oh, you want to know how bad things have gotten? Now your pet is dead.
Yeah,
but like, why couldn't you just like been fucked up and the cat didn't have to die? Like, why do you have a cat in the first place?
Why did the cat die?
I don't know. It looked fine.
Yeah, it looked fine.
It just looked bloated. So like, it just looked like it. I'll be honest. It looked like it'd been dead for a while, and he just like didn't even notice.
Well, it'd make a bit more sense. But
that could actually make sense, to be fair.
If there was like a shot where it was like next to some crack or something, it like got into his drug stash and ate it. But that didn't happen. Like its food bowl was full.
Yeah, it seemed like a tactic and it worked, because it just made me go, oh, I fucking hate this movie.
He's like a guy who keeps a schedule. He's a teacher. Like every day you should like go home and do like the exact same sort of thing.
Yeah.
So if he's not like able to take care of his cat now, I don't know what's changed, really.
No.
Because he was always doing drugs.
Yeah, like it's not like he ever stopped.
And he was always like sticking to that schedule and everything as well. So it just
showed up. He did show up.
There was only that one day where he wasn't in school.
I swear to God, I actually thought for a second he was dead. And I was like, I can't fucking do this anymore. I was like, I'm out of this movie. I'm done. I'm finitoed. But to be honest, it didn't. I guess if I'm going to give it credit for like, I don't know, being consistent with themes, I guess it did. It had the ending that was like, yep, that was the ending that was fitting. I don't know. Honestly, this film's. I can't even fucking talk about this movie. I can't fucking talk about it. I'm just gonna let you guys fucking go on.
As soon as he shaves, I was like, thank God. Takes years off of him.
Here we go. Now he's getting better.
Yeah, that's when you know. When you have a bath and you shave, and you have a glass of water, everything's gonna be okay. That's my method.
Yeah.
Your method? Your method for what?
You're feeling like shit. You take a shower, you shave, have a glass of water, and you're all right. Everything's gonna be okay. Yeah, I think it's. I think what's keeping this down for me is that I don't get so much about what it's trying to tell me, or that I got more from other movies that say what this is trying to say. As much as I really appreciate what it's going for, I really like the performance from Ryan Gosling. It's not something that I don't think it's going to stick with me as much as I enjoy it.
I think it's a bit long as well. It's like an hour 47 or something. Could have easily been like under 90 minutes, I think. But
yeah, perhaps. Yeah, you could have made it a bit tighter.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe cut out some of those scenes that weren't really gelling well with me. I did like when you said it was like improv when he just picked that stray cat up off the street.
Yeah,
and Anthony Mackie tells him to put the cat down. But that made a lot of sense to his character.
Yeah,
it's like he just lost his cat. Yeah. He sees a cat. I'm gonna pick up this cat.
Yeah, I think that's why he said, let's do this.
Even when he's not acting, he knows.
Exactly. He's always acting. He's one of the true actors. Oh man. Yeah, cool. Should we rate it?
Yeah, fuck it. Out of what?
Like if we keep talking about it, we're just gonna get depressed.
Yeah.
I just can't even talk about it in like the depths in which I probably would have if we had not watched the whole fucking marathon and spent 4 hours talking about Barbenheimer. I just don't have it in me to
that
even.
Really did us in, actually.
I don't. I just don't have it in me to talk about it at all, which is a shame because there's a lot.
Bags of crack.
Jesus Christ! Bags of crack, eh? Fine. You know what? Fine.
Bags of crack it is,
I
yeah.
couldn't think of anything else except for dead cats, but I didn't want to do that.
Do you know what? Dead cats came to my mind, but I'm glad that bags of crack is what we've landed on. We've settled on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think this is quite a well-made movie. This is like normally the kind of shit that I love, like these really like gritty, low-budget like indie movies that kind of just dare to show off like really good performance. I did get a lot out of it, but overall it didn't completely gel with me. Don't think I'd go back and watch it again, but Ryan Gosling is amazing in it. Deserves the Oscar nomination he got for it. I think it was his first nom.
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling. Yeah, give it like 7 bags of crack out of 10.
Why?
I fucking hate this so much.
This is a very niche and sensitive.
I don't even want to say it. Fucking hell. It was good. It was quite good. I don't know if it's going to be like this bleak movie. Well, like, I quite like movies that like feel quite depressing. But if they're going to be like that, I sort of want it to be like amazing, because I don't want to put myself through a movie about depression, and addiction, and it just I sit there and I'm like, oh, that was that, and it wasn't like amazing. This wasn't amazing, but for what it's worth, I did a fairly good time with it. I do think it overruns a bit, but what brings it home is Ryan Gosling's performance. I think he does a very good job at it. 7 bags of crack out of 10. Jesus.
Like, how do you even follow up bags of crack out of 10? I don't know. Oh man, it's a bit of a shame that I can't even like fucking form a sentence right now, because I mean, I actually got a lot out of this movie. I mean, probably a bit too much. Like, I literally like got up out of the sofa after it fucking finished, and I felt about like 16 kilograms heavier than I am, because I literally could not even fucking walk. It was harrowing.
This movie is the polar opposite to The Whale in terms of what you get out of your seat feeling like.
Yeah, like I didn't feel like I was floating. I felt like I was about to like drown. Yeah, I don't think I even took like a normal breath for like the last half of that movie. Like, fucking awful. Took me to too many places. Did not enjoy. However, fucking incredible. So I'm going to give it a 9 bags of crack out of 10. I know.
Lovely
imagine
stuff.
I don't even follow up on why, but there you go. You don't need to know.
Just hits.
It just hit. Yeah, it just hit. Hit.
The fairly in-depth review Darcy wrote on
Letterboxd.
Yeah.
Fucking sprawled out. There you go, guys. Live your life. I'm so fucking exhausted.
We go on to the next movie, where we talk about another movie that if we talk too long about it, it will make us more depressed and sad.
What was it?
Lars and the Real Girl. This came out the year after Half Nelson. It was 2007, directed by Craig Gillespie.
Great name again.
Director of Cruella, which we have talked about on this podcast.
Anything else?
Yeah, a couple. Nothing of note for me.
I did that I, Tonya.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. I Tonya.
I haven't seen I, Tonya.
That's quite good.
I, Tonya's awesome.
My mum's seen it and said it was great, but
Lars and the Real Girl is about Lars
and the real girl.
Yeah, and the real girl. And having a hard time sort of socializing, making friends. And his brother and sister-in-law, they're so worried. They're like, man, you got to get out there. You got to put yourself forward and like make friends and maybe enter into a relationship. But he announces that he has got a girlfriend, that he met her on the internet. And when she turns up, that she was in a wheelchair and that she's doesn't speak much English, and that she's religious, so they're not going to be sleeping together, so that she has to stay with his brother and his brother's wife in the house that they live opposite him from. This is their family house, I guess. Mm-hmm. And when their father or their mother died, they sort of went back. His brother Gus took the house, and he took this like outhouse, this sort of shed building, and he just sort of wanted to stay there. And when his girlfriend shows up, her name is, what is her name? Bianca. She's a doll. She's a sex doll. And this movie is about their relationship and how everybody's sort of reacting to their relationship, and how the community reacts to Bianca being a doll. It's about sadness and depression and fucking just anxiety, I guess, and with this weird guy who's sort of, I guess he's like sort of on the spectrum or just doesn't really understand. Yeah, it's I kind of got that he was probably autistic from it. Something was up with him.
I think I read that he's got schizopersonality disorder or something like that.
That's quite an interesting.
So I just think he was like dealing with a lot.
Yeah, he obviously had
like a very tragic and sad character. You learn as the movie progresses that he's got some things in his past that he sort of hasn't dealt with or come to terms with.
A lot of trauma.
Kind of like creates Bianca as this like way of coping.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie's kind of about him learning to deal with all of that stuff to the point where he no longer needs her at the end.
Yeah, so I'll just say it. I thought this was going to be a comedy, so I'm sorry about that. I thought I was going to laugh my ass off throughout this entire movie, but I just sort of felt sad and upset.
Yeah, it's like a dramedy, I think. But
it's heavy on the drama.
Yeah, it's like closer to a drama than a comedy, although there are quite a few funny moments.
Yeah, I felt like as soon as I got over that initial shock of like, oh, he has a doll as a girlfriend, that part was very funny, and like the introduction of it was like cringe funny.
Yeah.
As it developed, I just got more upset and sad and felt bad for him.
Yeah, it's kind of like the movie is based around one joke, and then they're like, after they've told the joke, they're like, okay, let's keep going. And then they like take in a completely different direction where it no longer becomes a joke, and it's just like.
It almost makes you feel guilty for like cringing at it. Like, you know, when you like make a joke about like a relative or something and they're like, oh, actually, like my mum died, and everyone goes, oh no. But like you were laughing a minute ago, but you're not anymore. That's what this movie feels like.
We said like at the beginning, like, what would you do if someone you knew and we had like, this? And we were like, oh, I'd probably leave. I'd probably run away. Haha. It's crazy stuff, man. This is mad. Yeah, as the movie went on, I was like, I just felt more guilty about saying that.
It just makes you feel bad about yourself. But I guess it's also, I don't know, it was like strangely uplifting though. Like this whole town of people were like, we love this guy enough to help him out, so we want to go along with whatever the fuck he's going through so we can help him through it. But I was kind of stuck in between, this is really nice and it's kind of enabling. Like, I don't think we should let him let him believe this, but like, but then, like, as the movie goes on, it's kind of like justified almost. So you're kind of like you're not stuck in purgatory like I was for like. I felt like the first 45 minutes or so.
You laughed a lot in this movie. Maybe out of like just this weirdness that permeates throughout. But it was every time, like, as soon as I'd gotten over that initial comedy shock, every time you laughed, I felt horrendous.
Yeah.
It was just like I was just. Oh yeah, I'm one of those people that I will laugh when I feel like awkward or cringe, and I fucking hate like, I genuinely, Chris will vouch for me, I fucking hate things like puppets and basically shit that doesn't like blink, and I fucking hate that kind of stuff. So like every time I got over it, something else would happen. It would make me laugh all over again, especially like at the end when he's see what I'm like when he's like fucking kissing this fucking doll, and I'm like, I can't fucking deal with this. Like, I'm feeling bad for him because he's obviously like gotten to this point in like, like this like trauma healing and grief and all this kind of shit where he's like, like he's finally like coming full circle, and it's like, I don't know, he's like, but no, I can't.
Yeah,
I can't. Like,
it's weird. I mean,
it was a battle in my mind, if that helps.
Trauma, I think.
It definitely is trauma-based, isn't it?
Kind of trying to come to terms with what happened to him through this doll, and like how he kind of buys her as a way to like sort of be happy, I guess. And then as the movie progresses and he learns more about what he's gone throughout his life and his parents dying and all that, and how sort of returned to the family home. His mother died in childbirth, I think was told to him by the doctor.
Yeah.
How he sort of takes that in and sort of maybe not consciously but subconsciously goes about getting rid of this doll, Bianca, from his life, but in a way that felt very human, and the fact that he was doing that. And, I never thought that I would like get out of this movie and be like, I'm so upset that the doll died.
Do you know what I was thinking that as well? Like when that fucking funeral happened, I was like, oh my God, like, I'm actually sad. Like, this doll was like never real, but they made it real. I was like, Ryan Gosling's character made it real. And it was like actually like a whole town's like mourning the death of a thing that never was, right? Never was.
Because she like integrates into the town, the community, and they're all doing it for him. They want him to like get better.
But like, isn't it also like, isn't it? See, this is like a bittersweet thing then, because aren't you also meant to like feel kind of like good about it in a way? Like he's like finally come to this point where he doesn't need her anymore, but it's also like, but she's
what
passed
makes this movie
on, right? Like
really great. I think.
My mind was like at war, like the whole time I was watching it. I was like, I'm uncomfortable. I'm not judging him. I just hate dolls, right? There's no judgment on my side about him, right? But I'm like, right, I'm uncomfortable. I feel bad about this doll. I fucking hate this doll. But I also, this is really sweet. I'm more enabling. I don't understand. And my brain was just fucking havoc the whole time. I was like, I don't know what to do. So when I started laughing, it was purely out of just, I was imploding inside. Like there's no other way to even describe what was going on inside.
It really gets under your skin.
It does. Why? It's such a simple premise. Why did it get to me so bad?
I think I really like that scene where she's gone to the hospital. She's been given this like terminal disease or something.
Whatever
and then like afterwards they go to the lake, and you said you laughed when he kissed her and started crying, but I just felt like I was being torn apart. I was like, Jesus Christ, nobody Ryan Gosling does it so well. He performs this so well. I'm just there like, oh, I'm broken. I'm like a shell. This is so horrible to watch.
Yeah.
And it's a doll.
I think this is low-key one of his best performances. He's so good in this movie.
Yeah.
He like completely disappears into this character.
This is the thing, like, how is he, who else would be able to make me feel bad about a doll that I can't stand in the first place? Like, I fucking hate them. I was thinking, I don't
think anyone could have pulled this off except for him. There's like this character, I think there's this like certain warmness to them, a certain sweetness that I just don't think
he's lovable,
anyone
isn't he?
really
That's the thing.
can do. Ryan Gosling, he is a really lovable person. He's really charming. There's like just this quality to him that I think shows in the character, and I just don't know if anyone really would be able to capture it quite the same way.
Yeah. I used to like not really care about Ryan Gosling. He was when I was younger, he was like the poster boy or whatever. He was
because everyone was like, he's so hot. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love Ryan Gosling. He's so cute. Yeah, he's
so hot.
He's madly attractive, but it's like he's also just like a fantastic fucking actor.
He's versatile.
I was always like, he's supposed to be like this dweeby sort of guy in this. But it's always going to be like, he's Ryan Gosling. He's like one of the most attractive men in Hollywood.
That's the only thing.
And the way he's able to pull off this performance is like staggering to me.
That was the only thing.
It completely goes against that. He can do anything, I swear to God.
I did think that was the only thing about this movie that kind of didn't completely win me over, was the idea that it was like, even as a guy who's dressed in the pink sweater, he's still sexy. I feel like he was aesthetically the wrong choice for this. But as an actor, he's like a potato.
Perhaps,
he's versatile. He works in everything. He does everything. He's a dish.
It's a bold move to cast somebody who is that, does have that reputation as being quite, very nice to look at, and have him cast as this guy who's not really supposed to be very, very reclusive and very like introverted, and have him pull it off that well. I think it says something towards just
how he does
acting chops.
I think he also gets to show off how good he is at being a comedic actor. Like, I genuinely think he's one of the best comedic actors we've got.
Yeah,
I think he really does. Although it's not a super funny movie, when it is funny, I think he's so good. Like his mannerisms and the way he moves, and like his timing, and just like his reactions to people. It's so good.
He's reacting the way that you kind of expect him to, though. But
yeah, the character.
But the character itself is so unique that you wouldn't really know how to. Does that make sense? Like, this only works in a way that Ryan Gosling can make it work. I can't express that in any other way. Like, if you haven't seen it, then you won't have a fucking clue why it's so fucking weird. But like, I don't know. He just went, yep, I am Lars now, and I will make this work. You don't even know this guy or how he would act, because you don't know anybody like me. but this is how I would be.
Yeah.
Like no one knows anyone like him.
Like all his sessions with the doctor as well. It's like not really about, she's like giving treatment to Bianca, but it's not really about that. She's a doll, she can't get treatment. It's more about like kind of getting to the root of why he's doing this. But I loved all those sessions. I love this idea that he hated to be touched, and it was like a massive thing for him to be like touch somebody else. And the fact that Bianca was first and foremost a sex doll, but he never had sex with her.
No, that's true.
Like he kissed her right at the end, and that's like the first time he really has any like physical contact with her.
Yeah,
but I really love those scenes where he's like talking about like things about Bianca, and it always like parallels like his own traumas, like his losing his parents and stuff like that.
Yeah, like
that's so good.
I think those. See, for me, I think those parts were like more engaging into his character for me, rather than him going around with this like fucking sex doll. I don't know. I think I got more out of those sort of scenes than I did from him being like, "Oh, you were supposed to play Scrabble with me tonight. Well, what do you mean?" And I'm just like, go back to the therapist. I enjoy this more.
He argued with her as well.
Yeah, that was something.
It's not easier, is it? You could still argue with her.
Like, who are you talking to?
I think my favourite scene in the movie is when he goes bowling with the person from work, and like all the other people from work show up as well. It's like the first time in the movie where you see him like really connecting with other people, and it's just so sweet.
That was so cute. I actually did enjoy that a lot. I was like, oh, he's finally with the people.
Yeah, he's like with a potential love interest and like with friends for the first time, which he never really had before.
So it kind of feels like, I don't know, like you're watching someone like grow and heal, and that was quite nice.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of what the whole movie is about. But there's also that really great scene where he's talking to his brother about when he like first knew he was like a man.
Yeah,
I think that's just a really great.
That's something I don't understand and can't relate to. So I didn't quite understand what was going on. Well, yeah, just the idea of like, when they were just having that whole conversation, I was like, well, I can't relate to this. So that's fine.
Yeah,
but well, I think I don't know. There was like nothing in that for me to understand.
He's more, I think, wants to know when they first knew that they were like a proper, like fully formed adult.
Yeah. How do you know when you're completely grown up?
Yeah. Because that's kind of what his thing is. He's not. He is still kind of like dealing with his traumas from growing up, and he's not really a full person yet.
Yeah. I liked his dynamic with his brother.
Yeah.
Played by Paul Schneider, a.k.a. Mark.
A.k.a. what?
Parks and Rec.
He's like the worst character in that show, but I really like him in this.
He's good.
Yeah,
he has
like
to come to terms with the fact that his brother is doing this, and he takes it very difficult. It's a very difficult thing for him to understand.
Because like we were joking about it at first, so like it's
it would be
obvious
hard for me to understand. Honestly, I'll be like, oh, okay. It's weird. It is weird. It's quite strange.
But then you get over that after a while, which is kind of.
I guess his arc was coming to terms with the fact that he left their home and sort of left Lars alone with their father, and how that kind of had a knock-on effect, and how he kind of had to come to terms with how that had affected his brother and also himself. Why he thought the things that he did. Yeah. But I felt like their friendship in a way, like it evolved over time, over the course of the movie. Whereas I think they were quite at odds at the beginning, sort of a lot more connected in the end. I really like that dynamic with them. It's no Mark, but he does a good job. I think I don't really see him in much.
No,
but he did very, very well in this. Cool.
So I'm so exhausted from this. How long is this episode? It's probably like 6 hours now.
Yeah, it's like over 2 hours, so I'm happy to move on.
Okay, let's crack.
I've got a few other notes, but nothing really.
That's right. Maybe we'll just have to revisit this at some point.
Yeah, that was cool.
This must be the place, Blaine.
Absolutely not. I want to forget about that all over again.
Loved by Tom Tom Club as well when they go in. That's another Talking Heads branch song.
Yeah. I need you both to stop.
Don't like Talking Heads.
Fucking love them. That's why I don't want to talk about this anymore.
That was such a great scene as well, where he's like dancing. He's like on the verge of tears. So sweet.
Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff.
What are you rating out of?
Well,
sex dolls?
No, we could do that. But
why do we have to do this?
We have to do these things all the time.
It just doesn't have to be this way.
Yeah, I guess we do.
I don't know what else is there.
That is sex dolls.
Yeah.
What it's about.
Yeah, it is. I really, really loved this movie. I connected to it quite strongly as someone who's kind of been dealing with a lot of my own personal demons recently. So I spent like the whole movie like on the verge of tears because I could see myself in it so much. I think I can see myself like going back to it pretty soon because I really, really loved it. I give it 9 sex dolls out of 10.
I hate this. So much. I need it to go away. Why do we keep
just say that and then say 9 sex dolls out of 10? I just don't...
This is the nuance of this podcast. Okay.
Jesus. Okay. Craig Gillespie, you got one for me. Thank you. This is really great. A really good time with it. Thank you, Ryan, also further proving what a chameleon he is.
Chameleon, I love it.
My chameleon. Rating this one 8 sex dolls out of 10.
I really don't like this rating system.
Me neither.
I think if I didn't hate dolls so much, I'd probably enjoy this more. But I genuinely, it's like when I'm watching Muppets Christmas Carol, and there's like scenes where like Gonzo stares into the camera and I have to turn around because I can't stand
it. The old Gonzo scenes, yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, I think it's one of those movies that is really bizarre. I feel like you need to watch it more than once to kind of, well, not get everything out of it because you kind of do in the first time. But like if you're, I don't know, if you're conflicted on it, but like me, maybe I want to watch it again. So for now, I'm going to give it 7 sex stars. I hate this rating system out of 10. And I never want to talk about it ever again. Right? Can the last one have like a normal fucking rating system, please?
Well, you can decide the rating system.
Oh,
for the
I
next
don't
one.
know. I'm literally just looking at it now.
Instagram movie. I drive. By the way, I drive. That's everywhere. It's fucking everywhere. I'm sick of it.
Yeah,
I'm sick of all these fucking Instagram posts about how great Ryan Gosling is.
Do you know what the weird thing?
And how everybody wants to be him.
The weird thing is,
I get like kind of secondhand ick from those.
I didn't realise that this was from that though. So when everyone was like, you know, the memes that are like, yeah, me. Oh,
he's literally me.
He's literally me. Oh, I drive. Yeah. I didn't realise that was actually from this movie.
You see that green text about the guy who just based his entire personality off of Drive, and then got a girlfriend, and then like a year into the relationship, they watched the movie Drive, and she realised what he'd been doing. Introduce the movie for us, Darcy.
Oh my god, I don't know if I can now. So through the meme and green of Ryan Gosling's best fan base, I picked Drive from 2011. I still don't know how to pronounce this guy's last name, so it's Nicholas who?
Nicholas Winding Refn?
Or Winding.
Nicholas Winding.
Either way, it's a great name, and I looked at it and I was like, how do you pronounce this?
He's a cool dude.
Yeah. He literally looks like if Jeremy Strong went to Caltech. This man is a Danish.
He looks like the singer of a post-punk band.
He does. And it has like everybody in the world in it. And anyway, so it's just about this man who gets in trouble with some gangsters when he's on a getaway heist type thing, and there's people in it, and it's most people have seen this movie, let's be honest, right? Because I must be like the only person in the world who hasn't seen it now.
Very big.
Yeah, it's fucking massive, right?
I feel like it was like the one that put Ryan Gosling on the map.
Like,
sort of.
Yeah, it was like the first Ryan Gosling movie I watched.
Like literally, I've heard all the boys love this movie, and from what Max just told me about that geezer who's based person, this is that movie, right? This is the
movie.
Yeah. This is the Ken movie.
Yeah. It's a lot of energy in there.
Yeah.
Watched it. I've only seen it once, or like 10 years ago, because my college lecturer recommended it to me.
Was that college lecturer a man or a woman?
Man.
Right, well, there we go.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's not quite what I expected it to be, but it's fucking great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like it's got like Nicholas Winding Refn's stamp on it. Yeah. It's so much his movie. From the beginning, from the off, with like the pink credits and like the sort of neon aesthetic it's cultivating. I think he does very well at that. And I thought about his movie, The Neon Demon, a lot in this movie.
Which is like the same sort of visual style, like super colourful and bright.
Yeah, but it has like the grit and the the violence of a movie like Bronson, his other movie that he's done.
My God. I didn't realise it was going to be that violent until it got really fucking
He's
violent.
really great of like, because I feel like the whole movie it kind of is very bright, it's very neon, like the music's very bright and upbeat kind of, and then it's just like, here's this really horrible tense shit that underneath it. Here's some like horrific violence.
See, I loved like the neon colours were nice. The font, however, unreadable and disgusting. Have a word with yourself. Other than that, I think it's glorious. Like, I'm reading reviews of people that fucking hated this, but that is part of what I like to do best. If I love a movie, I'll see why people hate it. If I hate a movie, I'll see why people love it. It was kind
of marketed as an action movie.
That's what people are saying. It's like
it kind
fake.
of is, but like it's more of like a
it turns into
sort
one
of thriller.
It kind of does, though. Yeah,
it does such a good job at like giving you this vibe at the beginning, and like throughout into the middle, it's quite calm and held back. But it's very smooth in how it like glides along its path. And then it turns into something very violent and upsetting, and definitely a lot more sinister as the movie goes on. I won't say it's like a flip. I think it melds into it quite well.
Yeah, I think it builds up.
As soon as like the first like instance of like brutality happens, it's not like, whoa, what the fuck was that? It was more like,
it was building
I didn't realise it had been building this entire time.
That's basically how I felt about it.
It is like very shocking and at first, but it does like make complete sense.
I did enjoy that because it was almost like a nice, things are interesting now. But that's just kind of the nature of these kind of movies for me though. Like it was building up to a point where I was like, I mean, this film's all right, but I'm just looking at sexy people and listening to nice music, and then it started getting to a point where I was like, this.
I think it does such a good job of building up to it as well, because it really does take its time. Like it's a real slow burn for like the
but
first
it's not even that long a movie either.
No, it's not. But I feel like it really takes its time to like set the stage, like kind of put you in this setting and like introduce you to the characters and get you to kind of connect to them and fall in love with them. So then when shit does start happening, it hits harder and it's more disturbing and it's more tense because you've had all this time with these people.
Yeah, care now.
Yeah,
you made me care.
Whereas I feel like a lesser movie would just be like straight into the action and you wouldn't really care.
Do you
know what?
That is hilariously quite a lot of the backlash for this movie is just
it takes too long.
It's called Drive. It should be about a driver. Like actually, no, like apparently, like the whole point was for the whole film to be centered around like this guy who's.
But it just wouldn't be as good
moonlighting
as
basically.
Like that. It's so good because it's not like that because it completely subverts that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I just love that. I mean, most of the reviews on here are actually like quite negative, or on IMDb anyway.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know. I feel like as movies go, I don't know. It did serve its purpose, right? Like, I know I'm like reading things about people who things that are like, oh, this film took too long to get into it. Like, nothing really happened. It was like an hour and a half of like 2 things happening. But I don't really feel like that in sense of like, I felt like there was always something happening. I mean, there were little dips in it for me, to be fair, where like as it was building up, I was like, it's better go somewhere soon. I'm getting a little bit bored now. But then if you just get straight into it, it doesn't really have that sort of like punch, does it? Where you're kind of like you're building into this like character's like psyche and shit, like the demise of it all, right? But if you just get straight into it, there's like no stakes in it. There's no demise. It's just things are happening, right?
Like the third act feels earned because we spent so much time.
Yeah. Instead of like just going straight into like, the second or third act and just being like, oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
He's established. This is already happening, right?
This is like such a staple character for not only Ryan Gosling but just like movies. I think it's like so up there in like the echelon of film. Like this character of the driver. I think a lot of people, especially a lot of young men, definitely try to like imprint themselves onto him. And that's why I brought up that green text story I read about that guy who basically based his entire personality on him.
See, that's how great he is, right?
Yeah, he's so great. He just, he's like, this wouldn't work in real life, man. Don't try to be this guy because it doesn't work.
You get beaten up so quickly.
You have to be able to talk to people and interact with people because, I get, like, he's a cool guy. He really is a cool guy in this movie. I get it.
Yeah.
But also, like, Ryan Gosling's the king of that. You can't do that in, like, but you can't do that in real life and have it meld that way.
Yeah, how do you
it's quite heightened and it's like quite a weird movie and for that.
How do you actually build your personality on Ryan Gosling? Like, I'm being dead serious now. Like, I don't know how that works because his personality seems like almost like nice aggressive, and I don't really know how I don't really know how that kind of like gels well with like the average folk. It feels like this is a character for a movie. It's not real,
relationship.
Like, like it's just so bizarre to me. Like,
I get it. The sort of calm, collected, kind of aloof, mysterious guy who doesn't really say a lot.
Wears a cool jacket.
Drives
vintage cars.
True. Does that guy drive a vintage car? Who knows?
He drives a lot of cars.
He does. Oh no, that's the whole point, right? Because he does like Hollywood stuff.
Yeah, he's a getaway driver as well.
Yeah, like
Ryan Gosling does this type very well.
He does,
sort of silent protagonist.
It's almost like because he's cool and mysterious and wicked. But like, I was just laughing because there's like a review on here that's like, Ryan is perhaps the worst actor ever in the history of acting.
It's mad. I don't understand it. How you can come to that conclusion about him. You've got like, not only do you have like Drive and let's say Blade Runner 2049, where they're quite silent protagonists and quite more
subtle
about how they hold themselves and the body language that they're using, the faces he can make with like, and he can convey so much just through his own body. It doesn't matter that he's not saying a lot because you get the performance from his body language. Yeah. But the fact that he can juggle that with performances like Lars and the Real Girl or
like how was he doing
Barbie
this?
Or The Nice Guys, where he can go like so far in the other direction and play up these comedy characters with a lot of heart and people you care about still, but they just make you laugh a lot. This is why he's one of my favorite actors.
Or even like just like La La Land or like even First La La Land, where he's playing like maybe more of a like standard sort of character, but he's doing it so well.
This is why I say he's like a potato. Like
he is very versatile.
He works with everything.
First Man, he's so good at First Man as well. Amazing stuff. But it's like, you can't be this in real life, boys. I'm sorry. I
don't really understand how. I mean, obviously worked for this guy for however long, but I don't know how.
He was in a completely different world, you know?
I just don't understand.
He was a driver.
I bet he was so hated by like everyone around him as well. Because like, he's not the kind of like, don't get me wrong, like the purpose of having a character in a movie is to have them only on screen for like 2 hours tops, right? If you knew a person like this, you would fucking hate them. Because I think I would.
Like, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they're so unbearable. Well,
that's Craig. He sort of stands there looking aloof and hot and mysterious. He doesn't say a lot, but he drives.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
That's a guy I don't want to talk to.
It just seems like he would be like, and this is going to sound so awful, right? Because I'm not talking about Ryan Gosling here, but like maybe the character, I don't know. But like, I feel like you would just be like so fucking boring. Like you'd be sitting in a car with him and he just wouldn't speak. He'd just have like a song playing in the background. He would just be like,
"That's all I want."
And I was like how
that's
boring
all I want
would
from this guy.
Like that's just what I was getting from it. Like, but obviously I'm not the one pretending to be. He doesn't even have a name in this movie, does he? He's just driver.
He's the driver.
All right, you don't even have a name, cool guy. What's your name?
That's how cool he is. He just drives, man. He just drives. I remember this movie ending differently. I've seen this like a couple of times, but I remembered it having quite a nice, happy ending. That is not what we got.
No.
So much. He just goes on this like brutal spree of violence. In the end, he just ends up going away and being lonely. But I remember it that you like went away with Carey Mulligan and her son. So when that didn't happen this time, I was like, wait, what? Damn it! Don't know if I would have preferred that.
No.
Don't
think it would have been the same.
Probably not. Not.
Although I was actually quite surprised that he just like didn't die.
Yeah.
Like I actually thought like he was just like you know that really long shot in his car. I was like, is he dead? Is he not?
Yeah, it's a great shot.
And then he
It's
like
a great
blinks,
shot.
and I'm
Well,
like, fuck.
It's quite ambiguous because you don't know whether he's about to die or maybe he has already died and this is like a vision or
Oh, maybe
where he's going to survive.
I think he survives.
Maybe they were. Maybe the race car boys were like, Drive 2. Let's have Drive 2 because he could have survived. The petition for Drive 2.
again.
I don't know. Was there a petition?
I don't know.
Why would that be?
No, probably not. It just does what it needs to do.
Yeah.
It's solid. You got Oscar Isaac coming in. There's this guy called Standard. Like, what? That's not a name.
No.
I like that there's a YouTube version. Like, there's a YouTube fake sequel of Drive called Drive 2 the Uber Years.
Drive 2 the Uber Years. Yeah,
Nice.
Like a fake version of Drive. I love that.
Yeah,
I just wanted to know if anyone ever like petitioned it, so that's what I'm gonna look for.
You said like everyone's in this movie. Yeah, got a lot of big ones. Oscar Isaac comes in. He's like, he plays a really good role. I think for his character.
Yeah,
I think he plays these kinds of roles very well. Just like this guy that's sort of like kind of weird and like he's got a weird energy about him. He feels like he's bad news. I love everything they do with him. He's not in it for a very long time, but I think he leaves an impact.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what you want from a character like that, where he sort of makes friends with the driver in a type of way.
Yeah, I remember him being in it a lot more. I didn't realise he died so early on, like into the movie in terms of how long he's actually was in it for.
Insane scene when he gets shot as well.
Yeah, it's so tense.
Yeah. I thought like I would be able to write down like, oh man, that scene was so tense. But then like he just keeps like driving and like they get into this massive car chase and I'm like, oh shit, it just keeps going. That's such a great chase scene as well.
Yeah, it is great. Like, it's not like a super action heavy movie, but when it does like show action or anything like that, it's so well done.
Gives you what you want. It's
it gives the
bloody
people what
and
they
it's
want.
violent and it's, you know, because when you, like somebody dies in a movie, I think about like just any fucking movie that shows death. A lot of the time it's very throwaway. Like you can't, like they just kill people and you're like, that's a guy who died. But in real life, if you saw that, you'd be like, oh my God, this is horrendous. Just watching somebody die.
Yeah, you see someone get shot, it wouldn't be just like they're shot and they're fallen to the ground. It'd be like in this where like there's blood everywhere. Like the person who gets like, I think it's Christina Hendricks, is it? Who gets like shot on the head and her entire head explodes. Yeah,
that's more what it's like. To be fair,
cakes the mirror in blood.
Yeah,
glass everywhere.
I like the fit that you see like bits of her brain. It was fucking mad.
It just goes like in slow motion from there. That was a really good way to handle that scene, as it sort of dawns on the character of the driver what's happening, and how he kind of reacts very quickly to it. The fact that I was like, have you done this before, man? Because he kills a lot of people.
Yeah,
it's almost like he's like a natural. Like he already knows what he's doing.
You could do this. Has their like head stomped into the ground as well.
That was great.
Apparently, he like consulted with Gaspar Noé for that scene because he wanted to make it really realistic.
That was fucking minging.
I love this movie for that.
That was minging.
It feels visceral.
Yeah,
it feels like every hit counts. You know, when he takes the gun and he shoots the guy in the face. You're like, oh, yeah. I love that scene in the elevator where he just sort of like kisses Carey Mulligan, sort of draws her back, and then just this fight ensues, and he stamps on this guy's face until it's a bloody pulp.
Yeah, that was the scene that guy went, I will now become driver from the film.
There's just like so much weight to every death in the movie, I think, even for like these characters that you have never met, like that person in the elevator and shit like that.
Yeah.
Anytime someone dies or gets killed or like gets like horrifically hurt, there's so much weight to it.
Yeah, you kind of feel it in a weird way.
Bryan Cranston, his death was
his death's really shocking,
quite gross.
Yeah, his death filled me with like actual, I don't know, because obviously if you get like shot in the head, like it looks gross, but there was something about just watching that fucking thing slice through his skin like a fucking
watching a guy's wrist get slit. It's horrible to me. It is horrible. You feel it.
And
I just love that he shook his hand, he cut his wrist, and he was like, "There we go, it's done. It's done. There's no pain. Don't worry about it." I'm like, you're a monster. What the fuck?
So minging. It was that was horrible, and they did that to Brian of all people.
Not Brian. Not another Brian death scene.
He is great in this as well. Apparently, like pretty much all his lines are improvised, like in terms of talking about cars and shit.
That man is an absolute tank, isn't he?
In the original script, Driver had a lot more dialogue, but they decided to basically make him almost a silent protagonist. So to fill it out, Bryan Cranston was like, right, I'm going to make this guy a gearhead and have all this like talk about cars and shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as much as I don't think a guy like this in real life would work, it works for the movie that he's in.
That's what I mean. It works for this specific scenario alone because it's not something that you would come across every day.
I do like his jacket, the sort of scorpion jacket. Yeah. It's iconic.
Do you know what?
I saw a guy one time with that jacket on, like a few months back in a bar. I was like, oh,
yeah, I've seen.
Is everybody else seeing this?
Do you know what I like? I like the replicas of this jacket, but the actual jacket in the movie looks so shittily, like so shoddily made. It looks like shit.
You think?
It's the embroidery and the stitch work looks like shit, but like I've seen replicas of the jacket that look way better.
Yeah.
So I think whoever made the fucking jacket, no, absolutely not, no. But that's just me talking from from an artist standpoint. I didn't like the jacket. I like the look of the jacket, but I don't think it looked very well made. But maybe that's the whole point, because obviously he probably didn't get this special jacket made. Maybe he did it himself. You know, like I'm just trying to think now of why it would look the way it does.
I must have a scorpion sort of jacket with a scorpion on it.
Scorpions are cool though.
I don't do scorpion jackets. I will make myself one. Who knows?
Something we've not talked about is the music as well.
The music is sick. I mean, I did say nice music.
Some of the most like iconic film music now at this point. That's so famous already, even though it's only came out like 12 years ago.
I know, but every song kind of just slapperoonie.
Or like 80s like synthwave sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the neon aesthetic. It's cultivating as well.
It suits, doesn't it?
Yeah, I feel like it's been like so influential like since then. But I think there's that game Hotline Miami that was heavily inspired by the aesthetic of this movie. I feel like a lot of things that have come out are clearly very heavily influenced by it.
It was only this time around that I realised, listening to the music, that my boss plays a lot of this music in the office.
That was quite a nice little nugget of information there.
It just dawned on me. I was like, wait a minute. What the hell?
He's the guy who's based his whole personality.
He's literally me. No, it's a cracking soundtrack, man. You got you got Electric Youth in there with A Real Hero. That's such a great song. Desire by Under Your Spell, or Under Your Spell by Desire. Nightcall's great. Nightcall's so
probably
good.
one of the best songs ever made.
Yeah. It's cracking, man. I love it. It suits the tone of the movie very well as well.
That makes me think of that film, The Guest, that came out afterwards, which kind of feels like it's trying to go for the same sort of thing, but
never heard
on its
of it.
face. Yeah, tries to
doesn't work.
No, yeah.
I'm gonna look it up now. I've never heard of it.
Oh, it's not good.
No, it is
not good.
I can't even. There we go. I thought for a second that was Will Smith. Right.
The guy from The Guest.
No,
Will Smith.
So when I was searching it up, the tiny thumbnail came up and I couldn't see the quality wasn't very good. But do you know what? A fun fact for you. I'm pretty sure it's this guy, if I'm correct, and hopefully it is. But I'm pretty sure my sister hates this guy, like irrationally hates him. I think it's this guy. I'm gonna double check, but I'm pretty sure she hates that guy. Makes me laugh every time.
He was in that Beauty and the Beast live action movie.
The
Eurovision movie.
The Eurovision movie is one movie that I'm definitely going to recommend on the pod at some point, because it is fucking hilariously awful, and I love it so much.
Oh no.
Jar Jar Ding Dong.
Jar Jar who?
That's what the famous song from it, Jar Jar Ding Dong. Right. It's shit. Anyway, enough of that. I'm just now looking at this movie it does look very like... Oh, I've heard about this movie, actually. I've never seen it. I've heard of it.
You don't need to see The Guest.
This just it just sounds like the plot to that Prince and the Pauper thing from The Simpsons.
Right.
Anyway, I'm so hungry. I can't fucking think.
Do we have much else to say about Drive? Or
No.
No.
This episode's too long, okay?
He's literally me.
I drive.
What are we going to rate this one out of?
Right, that is a good question. I'm going to rate it out of Chevys.
Okay.
He drives a Chevy.
Sure.
Okay.
Chevies.
Yeah, this is a great movie, super iconic. Like, I feel like it's already like one of the most famous movies ever made at this point. So like influential in a lot of movies. Even though it only came out 12 years ago. And it's just so great. Had such a good time rewatching it. And glad I did because I've not seen it in like at least 10 years. Give it 9 Chevys out of 10.
Yeah, I love it. It has BDK for me, Big Dick Kennedy.
I love that. Oh my god.
This one gets a 9 Chevys out of Ken.
I'm now stealing that. What was it?
Big Dick Kennedy.
Yeah, that one. I'm gonna. I don't even remember what I even rated it. 8 Kennedys. No, 8 Chevys. I'm fucking hungry and tired. I've got stuff to do.
Woo! Thank you, Ryan, for giving us more great movies. Keep them coming. We will be there.
That is true. We might be there.
We might be there. That's that. For episode 126. Next time, we bring you another classic free-for-all episode where we all pick just a movie to watch, and we watch them, and we come back to you and tell you our thoughts on them after watching them.
Yeah.
So, as per, Chris goes first. What are you picking?
Yeah, so we're not doing this one together because Darcy's away next weekend. Because of that, I decided to pick a film that I've been putting off for ages just because of how long it is. But it's one of my favourites, one of the all-time classics that I feel like we had to talk about it eventually.
You're hyping this up?
Yeah, my pick is Francis Ford Coppola's 1979 movie Apocalypse Now.
Oh my god. Okay.
I think we're going to do the final cut. Did I give you the Blu-ray of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that one's like 3 hours. It's like 30-40 minutes longer.
Okay.
Why?
But the final cut, in my opinion, is better. So
awesome.
Well, brilliant.
I've got the 4K, so I will subject Darcy to that, much to her chagrin.
Lovely. Cool.
Might have to, mate.
My one is one I picked. I don't know how to get it, but I'm sure you can get it for me, Chris.
We'll see.
This is a movie by a director I do not care all that much for, but I wanted to watch a few more of his movies because I hope that I would be turned around on him at some point. This is the 1976 movie directed by Nicholas Roeg called The Man Who Fell to Earth.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Got David Bowie in it.
Yeah.
Hopefully it will be a good time.
That guy
I really like
is cool.
director as well, so I'm excited.
Awesome.
We went on a bit of a whim picking my movie because now that I'm going away, well, I say now that I'm going away, I've known for months. We kind of we got about 3 films, and then I kind of went, okay, let's pick one out of these 3, and I've gone for The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Oh,
yeah, that's what I've done.
For most 3.
Great name, by the way.
3 pretty like auteur directors.
yeah, there we go.
3 of the greats.
He's got one coming out this year.
Yeah, he does. Looks ridiculous. It looks insane.
It's mad. Can't wait.
Huh?
Was it Poor Things or something?
Wait,
Something
there's
like
an
that.
upcoming
With,
bit. Yeah, there is.
Emma Stone and Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, we saw the trailer for it not long ago.
That poster's fucking creepy. There's a duck. Oh my god, yeah, I remember this trailer because there was a duck with fucking legs. Yes, I remember this.
Duck with legs.
I remember this, and I was like, "That's visceral." Yeah, it looks sick. It looks
I would
weird.
say ducks should never have legs.
Especially stubby legs.
Join us next time for movies about ducks with stubby legs. Apocalypse Now, The Man Who Fell to Earth, and The Killing of a Sacred Duck.
Oh no!
Follow our social media. YouTube, The Sunday Movie Marathon. Instagram, @SundayMoviePod. Twitter, @SundayMoviePod. Facebook, @Sunday Movie Marathon. And Letterboxd, @SundayMM, capital S, capital MM. Remember to like, subscribe, rate the podcast 5 stars wherever you can do that. And do we have any extra words of encouragement in these trying times?
Save the ducks.
You are Kenna.
You are Kenough. It was in you the whole time.
You just needed to get that big dick Kennedy. Yeah, I said it right.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Ryan.
Love you, Ryan.
For your Kennedy.
For your potato performances.
See ya.